Good morning, happy Sunday, and welcome to Sewing Street. This is only my second day, so if you didn't watch yesterday, my name's Rebecca Reed. I have been sewing for, well, my whole life, obviously, like most of you have, but I'm one of the lucky people that my hobby is my job as well. I've worked in sewing for years. I've worked on craft magazines, worked on cross-stitch, sewing, embroidery, crochet, and I used to work for Sewing Quarter as well in their sort of product development. I was one of the guest presenters, so I was really excited when they asked me, would I come and present for Sewing Street? Well, of course I would. How lovely. Because we're all just part of a lovely big community, aren't we? And I think, well, for me personally, you know, obviously I met loads and loads of great sewers here, that all the designers and the guest designers and everybody. But, you know, amongst my friends, nobody really sews. And I think this is a really great place where you can meet and talk and chat to other people. I mean, our Facebook fan page is fantastic. You can go into that. You can ask people all the time, what do you think I should do about this? Does anyone know where I can buy this? How do I do that? And so it's just a really lovely community. So I'm really pleased to be joining you. So bear with, because remember, this is only day 2 and I'm still a little bit scared. So just be patient. Now today we've got some fantastic things to show you, and I am really excited that our first guest is the lovely Cara Ackerman. I was just having a chat to Cara. We've known each other for 25 years, which is quite a long time. I used to be the editor of Needlecraft magazine and Cross Stitch Collection magazine 25 years ago. And Cara worked for DMC, and we used to work together on products. And then luckily she came and worked for us on Sewing Quarter. More recently, I've been working on Love Embroidery magazine. She's been doing designing. So I was so thrilled when my second day I've got Cara in. And today is all about, the 2 hours with Cara, all about embroidery. So if you've not tried embroidery before, or you'd like to have a go at it, then do join us, because Cara is going to show us everything from the sort of the beginner all the way through to the more expert. So if you have tried embroidery and you want to sort of learn some new skills, this is perfect. Or if you've wanted to have a go, because what I love about embroidery, it's just so adaptable. You know, maybe you just want to embroider a name on something, or personalise something, or you made a beautiful patchwork quilt and you want to embroider its label. It's so easy to do. And, you know, I think people get a bit sort of, oh, well, you know, you can be really expert on all these amazing techniques, and it can feel like it's a real high-end thing, but it really isn't. It's honestly can be as simple as writing your name on a piece of fabric with an erasable pen and sewing over it. But anyway, Cara's going to show you all of that. So, anyway, bit of housekeeping for you. The website, don't know what's going on with the website, but it's very upset today, so it hasn't updated itself. So you need to bear with us a bit. If you want to order from us today, you are going to have to log onto the website as you normally do. And remember, don't panic. It comes up as the Jewellery Maker one because we're sort of sharing it until we've got our own. So look, now you can see the website, and remember, see the search bar at the top that says search product name or code. We're going to put the code in for our early bird, because that's our first one, ISXC 51. There you go, and that's our early bird. So if you want to buy anything for us while the website's being a bit poorly, you need to put the code into the search bar at the top. So there you go, did that, there's the early bird. But if you don't want to do that and you think, oh, I can't be bothered, don't forget about the call centre. It's a UK-based call centre just around the corner from here, full of some really lovely, very kind, very helpful people. There's the number at the bottom of the screen, 0800 001 4433. 0800 001 4433. Anyway, give them a call. It's a free phone number, and then you can do any of your ordering. And actually, they're really helpful and they're really knowledgeable. So if you say, oh, I want this, I'm not sure, they will help you through and talk you through it. So if you've got any problems at all, give them a ring. And it is UK based, so it's really simple to get through. So shall we move on to our special early bird? Now, this is a brilliant idea that we have got this. It's the Osnaburg cloth. Now, the reason that we're doing it today is a special deal because, as I said, this is our embroidery special day. There are lots of projects that are going to be using the Osnaburg cloth, but also it's a brilliant cloth to have anyway. So I'm going to open this one. This is a specially pre-cut piece. And in order for you to sit properly, I'm going to open it up, and that means I'll have to refold it, but hey. It's huge. So this pre-cut piece, I can't even open it, is 1.5 meters by, I'm trying to just check out what the width. So it's 1.5 meter long piece. Now the wonderful thing about Osnaburg is it's pure cotton, but it's natural. It's very soft. Can you see? It's very fluid. It's not like your stiff, heavier weight calico. However, it's not like that very, very thin calico. It's got a little bit more body to it. Now, if we get in really close, you can see it's got this beautiful, natural seeded look where you've got all these, you know, tiny flecks. Can you see? When we sort of get in a bit closer, you see, yeah, there you go, look. See all these, I can't even find my finger. Oh, I hate this, why can't I do that? See all these tiny flecks all over? Yeah, it's like a bit like, you know, in ice cream when you see all those tiny little vanilla pods. It's just like that, but it gives you a really natural effect. So it's perfect for embroidery because the thread sits beautifully on it without disappearing. But because it's a slightly light, looser weave than a really tight calico, then it's easier to stitch on. So it's perfect if you want to go for that sort of shabby chic natural look, home furnishings, cushions. Brilliant for tote bags because we're not using plastic anymore. We're all making tote bags. Perfect for that. It's very hard wearing. So it works well on its own, but it also works well because it's that beautiful cream natural coloured look, and it's really neutral, those brown flecks. It goes very well with brights. Any's, I mean, it kind of goes with every colour, but it will, you can use it as the base fabric to set aside on other things. But it's also really good for, because it's hard wearing, you can use it sort of for cushion bases for outdoor things. Maybe you want to line your bean bag or your cushion with something. And the reason for that is it's much cheaper than the normal cotton fabric. And so our early bird price today is £6.50, only £6.50 for this 1.5 metre piece. And it's 120 centimetres wide, so it's almost square, not quite. So 150 by 120. So at £6.50, you know, that's fantastic. I mean, you could even make some, you know, lightweight curtains with this because it is really good value. But as I said, it's perfect for a lot of the projects that we're going to be doing today. So what I would suggest, because the way that the postage and packing, if you haven't shopped with us before, works, it's £3.95. £3.95, and that's it for the whole day, for 24 hours. So once you've bought something, your postage and packing is added to your basket, £3.95, and then everything else you put in is free postage, really. So if you pop this one in your basket today, get your £3.95 out of the way. You can keep checking out all day. Don't feel that you're, oh, well, once I've checked out, that's it, I've got to pay again. Anything that you buy in the next 24 hours will have that one £3.95. Now, obviously with lockdown, I've done quite well. I always do quite a lot of internet shopping. I've done even more. Love internet shopping. So I know what good postage and package is, and I'm quite fussy, and I often search around. So if I want to buy a product and it's on various websites, I go and have a look and see who's got the cheapest P&P. So this is really competitive. It's good value, and also it is just the one cost. And don't worry, if you put something in now and then later at 10 o'clock this evening you go, oh, actually, I really wanted that stranded cotton, you can still keep your £3.95. So, but if you've got this, then you're ready to go. Now, but remember, the website's been a little bit funny today, so search the code. You can always make a note in it, or call the call centre. They'll be able to help. Have a look on the website. You can see what the products are. But if you want to, so this is a cut piece, and you know, anyone who watches us all the time, you know that we sell fabric by the £0.5 metre in continuous pieces. So if you want more than a £0.5 metre of something, you put 2 in the box, and then you'll get a metre. You won't get 2 half metres. It is a continuous piece. So with this, if you want more than this really good value of £6.50 for a metre and a half, if you want more than that, then you can also buy it by the £0.5 metre. So say, for example, you want, I'm going to fold this up, they'll save me time later. Say you want 6 metres, I'm going to make some big curtains, then put 12 units in, and you will get it as a continuous piece, because in our warehouse, all our lovely, lovely fabric cutters, we've got shelves and shelves of rolls of fabric, just like a shop, because we are a shop really, it's an online shop, and they take the bolts off the shelf and they cut your fabric as you order it. It's not in there are obviously ones like this where we've pre-cut a big piece for you, but with any of the fabric that we're selling, and actually we've got some really nice fabrics today on the show, lots of different prints and blenders and solids and colours. So if you ever want more than the ½ metre piece, you just have to put more than that in the units, and it is cut for you. So that is your early bird special. Bargain. Anyway, and also I forgot to say, this is only £2.50 for ½ metre. So if you are going to buy it, you want more than the early bird special, and you want that, it is only £2.50 for ½ metre, which is really good value. It is a great price, isn't it? But obviously you get your £1 saving for the metre and a half, because that's 3 units today. Lovely. So to the first hour, we are going to be talking about bags and bag making. So we've got this new book called A Beginner's Guide to Bag Making. So if you haven't done any bag making before, this is ideal, because obviously beginners. But if you have done, then there's loads and loads of different bags in here, 20 different bags inside, and you know, lots and lots of inspiration for you, because we all like a bag, and we all like a matching bag, don't we? Now, the good thing about this, at the beginning of the book, there's lots of glossary and tips on how to do things, how things work, all the techniques that you'll need to do in it. And then it goes straight into the bags. It tells you what the level is, what you need. You've got all the supplies. But in the book as well are all the patterns, which is lovely. So we open this out because it's quite a big sheet. Now, like a lot of patterns, in order to sort of save space, otherwise you'd have hundreds of sheets, the patterns are all sorts of, oh my lord, this is a bit unwieldy, isn't it? And I've got to open that. I'm not sure I'm going to refold that. But just so you can see, there's lots of pattern pieces, and, you know, oh, well, I'm just going to open part of it, or we'll never be able to see it. A lot of them are overlaid on top of each other. So what I'd say is get yourself some tracing paper, or just a bit of greaseproof paper. That's what I always use. And trace over the ones you want, and then cut them out and label them, because otherwise if you cut out one and then, you know, in a few months' time you decide you want to make another bag, you'll have lost that. So that's what I say. Although, to be honest, if you use like just plain A4 printer paper, you'd be able to see through this. So just draw around them and label them and cut out the ones you want. Where they're really overlaid, they change colour, so that makes it a bit simple. But the patterns are on the back and the front of it. But look, you know, look at the size of the sheet. So that's loads, you know, that's 20 bags, and it's so much easier to get the patterns, isn't it? So it's not saying cut a 5-inch square and round the corners. The 5-inch square with the rounded corners are already there. So, but you know, if you do dressmaking, you quite often will see patterns like this. It's just an easier way to do it. So do your patterns, first of all, your pattern sheet, which I'm just going to put on the floor, and we'll be folding that later. It's magic, that, isn't it? Anyway, there's 20 different patterns in here, and the price is £13.99, which is really good value, isn't it? Because that's like £14 divided by 20. That's quite cheap, isn't it? Just do the maths, you've got folded bags, so that's a nice little clutch bag. Big shopping bag with the rope handles, I like that. 70 pence. 70 pence. It's cheap for a pattern, isn't it? Where would you get a bag pattern for 70 pence? But there's loads of them. I love this one, this transparent tote. These are really cool at the moment. And what's really good is that you use like the clear PU on the outside of it, and then you make the inner from a print fabric. And the best thing about this is that you can then keep changing them. So you can have ones for different outfits. So once you've made the outside, you can then make this drawstring inside with different colours. So you can have a spring one, a summer one, and you can have, well, I like this one with grass. Now, if you want to buy some PVC, on our website, we've got some glitter PVC. So if you go to the website, type in the search bar PVC, you'll see it. And I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? Because then it's real sort of mix and match. It'd be really good for school. I know they are really trendy at the moment. I see them in a lot of places. So really good for kids going back to school, particularly teenagers. They'd love this sort of thing, because then they can personalise it and they can have a different bag, because all it is just a little bit of drawstring. So I love that. And you see those, they're quite expensive. I saw one in, you're not allowed to say the same as shops, but it was about £30 because I really wanted one. So make your own. Little box bag, that's great. That's just a little off the shoulder bag. So as you can see, Lovely courier bag. I like that with the flap, quite classy. You've got a real mixture of small bags, pouches, purses, PU bags, like the round base bag. And obviously what's really good about this is you've got those patterns. So it's not saying cut a 10cm diameter circle, you've just got to cut out the pattern piece. But these little duffel bags are lovely, aren't they? And you can make them in so many different fabrics. I mean, this has got that lovely kind of ikat print, but you could make them in canvas, denim. You could probably make this from a pair of old jeans, because I collect jeans. No one in my house is ever allowed to throw jeans away. I collect them and I cut them out, but you would be able to make a bag like that from an old pair of jeans. All you need is a bit of haberdashery, and all the instructions are there. That's a very glitzy bag, isn't it? Lovely, nice bit of gold PU on there with a really pretty lining. Little bum bag, perfect. When those festivals start again, if they do, that will be nice, won't it? Sports bag, you know, that's a great. So if you're thinking about making presents for Christmas because you can't start too early, you know, that is perfect for a teenager, isn't it? You know, they're always so flipping difficult to buy for, aren't they? But, you know, or for yourself as well, you know, you can make it as a weekend bag. And, you know, we were talking earlier about embroidery and how you can personalise things. You know, make the bag, write their name on the end of it in one of these lovely erasable pens, because that's what I use all the time, because they're heat erasable. And then you can just stitch over it. So once you've learned everything you will ever need to know about embroidery today from Cara, you'll be able to do that. So cylindrical bag, as I'm just nipping through, a bowling bag. I mean, there is a real wealth of ideas. Small shoulder bag. I mean, they've made that in sort of, well, gosh, it's called, I was going to say mock croc, but it's not, it's dragon. Dragon imitation leather. Is that mock dragon then? Mock dragon. But, you know, again, you can make that in denim and canvas and pretty prints and floral prints and Christmas prints. Have a Christmas handbag. Why not? I've never seen a Christmas handbag, actually. I think I might make one. I've never seen one for sale. I'd like a Christmas handbag. Safari bag. And we haven't even got to the one that we're going to make yet. I love that. That's the Kelly bag. Now, that's the one that's on the front cover. See, isn't that pretty? It's it is just a back. No, it's not a backpack. It's just a handbag. It's just got a little handle on it. But it's really pretty, isn't it? So this one here, the trapeze bag. This is the one that Cara is going to be showing us how to make today. And what's great about this is we have got 3 bundles for you, so that often the biggest problem with all of these is, well, I haven't got the right fabric, I haven't got the right stuff, and I haven't got a clasp or a D-ring or a swivel clip. So what we've done for you today is we've put together 3 bundles that have got everything you need to make the bag, but in 3 different colourways. So let's start with the yellow bundle. Right, remember you need to search for the code on the website, which is now on the screen. So if you want to buy this one, you need QTXC47. Now in the bundle, because this is the bag here that Cara's made earlier using another bundle I'll show you in a minute. So you've got this lovely mustard ochre colour canvas, 1 whole metre of, which is quite a lot, isn't it? Because it's I think it's 1.5 metres wide. So you get a whole metre of that. And then for that nice little contrast print on that one here, you get this lovely, pretty yellow print. This is a Rose and Hubble fabric. Oh, God, I like Rose and Hubble fabric because it's really soft. It's good quality. It's very soft. But look how beautifully that blends with that. So you've got the sort of the deeper, darker ochre colour, then blending with this really soft, like lemon, but a real pale lemon. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's a really, you could say it's sort of a spring bag, but it is very seasonal because it's got the darker, you know, it can be quite autumny as well, but it's a really pretty colour. But in there as well, you get, so there's 1 metre of the print fabric, 1 metre of the canvas. You get 1 metre square of interfacing, which you'll need to give the bag a little bit more structure to make it hard wearing. And then the haberdashery, because it's always hard to find. You've got 2 slide buckles, a swivel clip, 4 D-rings, and the magnetic snap. Love a magnetic snap, that's so much easier. And then that's all together in one. So for $34.99, you've got everything you need to make the trapeze bag. And it could be that you don't want to make the trapeze bag. It means that you want to make a different sort of shoulder bag. There are loads of bag patterns in here, or you might have your own bag patterns. But because you've got the 2 metres of fabric and all the standard bag hardware, then you know, if you've got another bag in mind, this is perfect. And because we've selected them for you, you know the colours match, you know the fabrics will go together. You don't have to think about it too much. It makes it a lot easier. So should we move on to kit number 2? And I'll just sort of leave that there for the fairies. The fabric tidying up fairies. Now the hardware in the first bag, that was in a gold colour to match those fabrics. In this one it's a silver colour. So with this one, again, you get a metre of the canvas fabric in this amazing, amazing hot pink. Look how vibrant that is. And this fabric that goes with it, that's so pretty. And I think these have been selected really well because the deep hot pink in the canvas is really echoed in the prints here, so they would go together really well. Now in our trapeze bag, we've done because the fabric's one way, but you could swap them round. You could choose which was your highlight print and which wasn't, because you get a metre of each. So with this one, we've got the print here and the canvas here, but you could swap them round if you wanted to. And again, you get the metre of interfacing. And then this time you get silver hardware because it goes better with this than the gold. So, you know, this is the beauty of these kits. It's quite hard to find everything you need for a bag. You have to go and search and then buy it on 3 different websites and pay 3 lots of P&P. So, again, you get 4 metal D-rings, 1 swivel clip, 2 slide buckles and a magnetic snap. Yes, I feel like I'm singing a Christmas song. Right, that's that one. And then finally, the blue one, which I can't quite read. And then this one is the one that's hanging on the stand, so you can see everything. So you've got this beautiful deep navy canvas, metre of. And then you've got this lovely blue, I'm not very good at flowers, I'm not sure what they are. Sort of blossom. Sort of pale blue blossom, and a metre of the interfacing, and again you've got silver hardware for this one because it goes better. 2 slide buckles, 4 metal D-rings, 1 swivel clip and a magnetic snap. And then that's everything you need to make that bag, or another bag even. But do remember, because our website's been a bit funny today, don't forget to search the codes. The one for this one is JDXC83 for the blue and white. But, you know, if you've got any questions or you just can't find it, email us at www.sewingstreet.com, or you can phone the phone line on 0800 001 4433. If you say to the people on the phone there, oh, I need the yellow bag and I can't find the code, they will help you, and it's really, really easy. So if you've not shopped with us before, we're going to show you just how to do it, and then we're going to get Cara on and you can meet her too.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
So, welcome back. Welcome back. We've got Cara. Hello, Cara.
Hello.
Isn't it great that we're working together again?
I cannot believe it. When you messaged me last week and said that you were here today, I thought, oh, that's so nice.
That's really nice because we've worked together so much.
We have over the years. So it's just lovely to be with you.
I know, I think we're destined to work together whatever we do.
Yeah, whatever happens. So in years to come, we'll be sort of like following each other.
Well, I remember when we left Sewing Quarter and I said, this will not be the end.
I know, it's strange, isn't it? And then I did some work for Love Embroidery magazine, and
I know you did a lovely project for that one.
Oh yes, Sashko,
yes, really nice Sashko.
On a very similar colour to the mustard.
It was, yeah, but it looked really
a
lovely.
Lemon one.
Yes.
Anyway,
But
we
you're
digress.
Bag making today.
Yes, bag making. Never, ever thought that I'd be doing bag making.
Really?
Yeah,
but
I
you
know.
Can sew. If you can sew, you can make bags.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, is sort of actually people need to have a little bit more confidence. If you've never done bag making before, have a go. It really isn't that difficult.
It's just sewing, isn't it?
It is, and quite often with bags, it's straight lines and everything. So, you know,
I think it's quite a good thing to start off with, because often people think, "Oh, I can't do bags." You know, it's got all of this special stuff. Well, it isn't really.
No, is it? No. And I've had a go at quite a few different bags now, and there isn't much difference between, you know, the techniques and things like that. You may have different hardware, and I think that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today.
Okay.
And also the linings, not the linings, the interfacings.
Yeah, that's really important, because that makes or breaks your bag, doesn't it?
It does, literally. Literally. For the one we've got today, because you've got the cotton canvas, and the cotton canvas is quite... it's got body to it.
Yes, yeah.
And then you've got the cotton. So what I did was I actually used the interfacing to make the cotton a little bit stronger.
Oh, okay.
So I just used the interfacing on the cotton fabric.
Right.
So
because in the canvas you never get the same selection of prints, do you? So
no, not at all, not at all. So it was really nice to actually combine the two. So you were able to sort of get the structure in the bag. But this one is quite a soft bag.
Right.
So I can touch it, can't I?
You can take it off.
So if I just take that off.
Yes, so, you made it. It's your bag.
Yeah. So this one's got quite a soft feel to it.
Okay.
And what's quite nice is if you're going shopping and you've got a bigger bag or something like that, you can roll this one up or something.
That's really useful, isn't it?
It's really nice.
So you can keep that one in your handbag.
You can, definitely. I love the fact that you've got a strap. I didn't put any interfacing on the strap because it was made from the canvas, but if you wanted to make the strap from the cotton fabric, I would suggest using the interfacing.
Well, that's good. So you don't need extra webbing or anything.
No. And this was just, there's 4 layers of fabric, and that was stiff enough. And when you machine it together, it's quite firm. Also, if you look at the bag here, you've got the blue in the centre and then the cotton accent on the sides. If you turn it over, you've got the cotton accent in the middle and the 2 blues on the side. So you can play around.
Yeah. Yes, because I said earlier you can choose which you do, but you've done that anyway. I hadn't noticed on the back that you'd swapped them over.
Yes. And the other bit that I want to talk about is actually at the side as well, because it is slightly different at the side there. I don't know if you can see. But instead of having a central seam, you've actually got a piece down the centre there, and then the box bottom, actually the side panel goes round. So it gives a very soft shape.
Yes, that is. That is nice actually. I can see exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so you've got that. So I thought, I'll cover that.
Yeah, no, that's a really... It gives it a bit of structure. I like it when you put the box bases on, because it does. You get more in and things can stand up. But that is just a really attractive bag. So why is it called a trapeze bag then?
Because of the shape of it. So we'll have a look at the shape in a minute. The other thing I just wanted to sort of show as well was the hardware here. So you've got clips at the side there.
Right.
So if you wanted to have a shorter strap,
is it adjustable?
So this is adjustable.
Oh, of course,
so this is
got the D-rings. Yeah, that's really useful, isn't it?
And you've got a slider, so you can make the strap as long as
I think this
you
is
want.
often where people get scared of bag making, because they think, well, it's got all this hardware and I don't understand what it does and I haven't got it anyway. But it's not complicated.
No, and again, I thought I'll spend some time, because the actual bag itself is very straight stitching. So you've got the straight stitching here. This one we've actually stuffed with some stuffing, but if I just open it up, I'll show you there's a pocket on the inside as well.
Is there? Ooh.
Turn it round, and I don't know if we'll be able to see. Just in there, there's a nice
it's just a little slip pocket.
Yeah, and if you wanted to, you could actually machine up as well. So
you could, and I guess you could put clasp on you, or
and you've got
or something.
Yeah, and you've got your magnetic.
No, that's quite nice, because you don't have all that fiddle with when you've got a bag and you're trying to put stuff in it. You haven't got the fiddle with trying to open it.
So the magnetic clasp is good.
Yeah, no, I do like that.
The other thing is, when I was making this, was that I actually attached the side pieces all the way through.
Right.
So you've actually got it through the canvas,
Yeah.
through the interfaced cotton, and I just felt that was a little bit stronger. In the instructions, they suggest just attaching it to the cotton fabric.
Oh,
but I
okay.
thought actually just for strength, but you know, it's your choice. You can do.
I think I would
what
do
you
that
like.
as well, because you don't really, you know, particularly because you've sewn it in a square as well, so it gives it a bit of strength,
Yes.
doesn't it? But
Yeah.
you don't want the strap coming off.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so where do we start then?
Ooh,
At the beginning?
at the very beginning. So what I did, I know that Sewing Street's actually got some paper for making patterns.
Right, okay.
I just used some baking parchment at home, and you'll take...
Oh yeah, like me and my greaseproof paper.
Yes. You know,
I've always got a big roll of...
Exactly.
And then people say, where's the greaseproof paper going? Don't touch it.
No,
it's in my
mine.
sewing room.
It's mine.
It's sewing, but I want to make a cake. You can't.
So as you... I'm not going to unfold it all, but the templates are actually on the paper pattern here.
Okay.
And they are in different colours. And when I first looked at it, I thought, oh gosh, that's going to be difficult to find my pieces.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier than you think. And you can put your paper over the top and trace it. It's got all the pattern pieces. Some of them are rectangles, so you could, if you wanted to, just measure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
so
you were saying,
yeah.
well, where's the trapeze shape? And if you look at that, that's the side panel. So it's wider at the bottom,
Right,
narrower
okay.
at the top. Also for the panels, that's your centre panel.
Okay, so
then-
it's best to label them, I guess.
Yes.
If you just copy all the labels off, so
Yes.
you know what's what.
Yeah, and they call them flanking panels. So those are the two panels either side, which are
Right,
flanking the
okay.
centre panel. And if you just notice here, there's a little bit of a kick
Yeah. What's that for?
up. And I thought, what's that for? And in fact, it just helps you. This is on the straight of the grain. And if you look at the shape of the pattern, that's your trapeze shape. I'll show you when I've got it on the fabric. Let's move that out.
So
the way.
they've sort of included the seam allowance in that, so that it doesn't get lost.
Yes, the seam allowance is included, but this tells you when you've cut your fabric out that this is the centre panel. So
Right.
that's the edge
Okay.
that you join to the middle part, and this is the side bit. Because when you've cut your fabric over, if you've cut your fabric, you can't always tell whether it's on the straight grain or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's
so
true.
instead of trying to attach the long edge here, that little kick, I thought, maybe that is the reason why it's there. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but,
or to make it sort of stay together. Probably makes it match up so you don't lose the seam allowance
Yes.
in the angle as you're doing it.
Yes, and they've even got the patch pocket.
Nice.
So
So
they've
you
got
could
the-
have a couple of those, couldn't you?
You can definitely, you
put
can
two.
change the size of your pockets. The other thing, rather than cut the whole of the lining pattern out, what I did was just cut half of it and then I just wrote fold.
Oh, okay.
So I knew
Yeah,
that that was the
yeah.
fold. And the thing is as well, with the bundles, you've got lots and lots and lots of fabric. So you will
Oh, have you? Is there
yeah.
lots left over?
So you have lots left over, but you also have a choice as to which fabric you
Right.
have for your strap handles, you know, which fabric you have for your lining. I've chosen the contrast fabric for the lining. So
I love this colourway.
Yes,
Really like
it's
the.
beautiful, isn't it?
Really like that
Absolutely
canvas.
beautiful. So I've actually, you have a look. Oh, you can see the pocket there better.
Well, so far this is the most popular colourway.
And it's so pretty. It
is
really
really pretty, isn't it?
is. You know, it can
very
be, as you say, an
fresh.
autumn sort of bag, but also lovely for the spring. And it is like a blossom. So this is the actual lining.
Oh, and it's fully lined. I really like that because sometimes, you know, when you don't, although you might finish the seams, it does sort of fray a bit, doesn't it?
I know. And this cotton canvas does fray a little bit. So if you wanted to and you got an overlocker, you could overlock the
Okay.
edges.
But because
so-
it's lined, it keeps it
Yes.
all really neat, doesn't it?
Yes. So this is the lining. I have actually put the lining together just to sort of show you. And this is where you put your magnetic clasp.
Okay, and obviously you've got to do that before you put the whole thing together.
Yes. So the first thing I thought I'd talk about was actually the different
our
interfacings and
interfacings.
things like that. So this one, the original one that I've done and that I prepped for today has got the interfacing that's included in the bundle.
Right, okay.
Actually on the back of the...
So did you press that on before you cut it out?
I did. So I pressed it on before I cut it out. The other alternative is if you wanted to, you could use that interfacing and you could interface the whole of the back.
Okay.
But because of the weight of the fabrics, I just felt I'd add the extra body with the interfacing on the centre panel. And so those fabrics now have got a very similar thickness.
Right, and then that keeps it soft, so like if you wanted to fold it up and put it in your handbag, that's better.
Yeah, so that's one way of doing it.
Right, I like that, that's a good idea.
And then another way, if you want a little bit more, you can use the H640.
Oh, the fusible fleece.
Yes, so
I love fusible fleece.
So do I.
I don't know why.
What did we do before?
I don't know, it's just brilliant, isn't it? Because it's so easy. Well, we've got some... We have got some here. I'm going to open up the bag.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to actually get the iron.
So this fusible fleece, it's a metre piece. The code is MMZW61. Everyone calls it H640, but if you don't know what that means, it's a fusible fleece, which basically means it's a fleece like a wadding, but it's iron-on. So on the back, you've got this slightly rough side. That's the sticky bit. And then you place this onto the back of your fabric and then you just press it on. And
you do. That's what I'm going to have a go
at
doing
and
now.
It just gives it body. I mean, you can use this for quilts and quilting or cushions and wall hangings and all sorts of things. But it's brilliant for bags.
Oh, it's fantastic for bags. So we looked at previously where the cotton was just interfaced.
Yes.
And this one, I actually wanted to do all the fusible fleece on the back of the whole piece. So you'll notice that I haven't actually got any interfacing on the back there. So then what you'll do is you'll machine your panels together. And this is where I said that, you know, it is just straight stitching. So I didn't think people wanted to see me doing a lot of straight stitching.
It's much better is to have a look at the sort of the individual bits that are a bit trickier.
So then you'll place that. You don't really want any of the interfacing to come through and get onto the iron. And if you find that, that's it. So just smooth that over and then just press. And you'll just hold your iron there and that releases the glue.
How long do you need to press it for?
It varies. Some fabrics, because the cotton canvas is quite a bit thicker, I'd possibly use my iron on there a little bit more. But the cotton fabric sticks very quickly. So the heat is transferred. So it's sort of like 5, 10
Is it a
seconds.
dry iron or is it?
It's a dry iron.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's any water
Does
in there
that work
anyway.
better then?
It varies. Sometimes, sometimes I forget to turn my steam off. Depends how angry I am.
When you're going to super steam him.
And you know, but a dry iron is easier to actually just adhere that, and you'll see a little bit more. Well, this has got some steam on it.
Oh, that's good. Well, it looks like the website has recovered.
Oh, wonderful.
It is feeling a lot better and it's running normally, so we don't have to do all the putting it in the search bar anymore. When you have if you want to purchase one of the book or any of the packs, you can just scroll down below and then you can pop them in your basket from there. All normal service has been resumed.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad the
yeah, well, it probably had a little lie-in of a Sunday, didn't it?
Yeah.
Unlike us.
There you go. So, just have a look at that now. So that's actually adhered.
So Alex has just messaged in to say she's only just started sewing, and if she can make bags, anyone can.
Oh, wonderful. Well done, Alex.
Yeah.
Can we see some photos?
Yes, send some photos of your bags.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I really like that because I guess you could use normal wadding and just tack it on, but the fusible just makes it simpler, doesn't it?
Yes, and if you find it's like there, you know, it's not adhered, you just, you know, run the iron over it again.
And it will stick on.
And it will stick on.
And that just gives it a body, but quite a soft, squishy feel.
A bit more body, and this is it, you know. The other thing, to give it a more professional finish, they do suggest sort of doing the top stitching.
Oh, that's nice. I quite like that.
Which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then
I guess you could do as much much, can you? Or you could quilt a pattern down the centre if you
Oh,
wanted.
you could, yes.
all
Oh,
sorts.
yes, definitely. So that's with the actual wadding. So you'll see that it looks a little bit more quilted. And
Yeah.
this is where you've just got the interfacing and it looks quite smooth. So that's the
Yes.
difference between the two of those.
Yeah, I guess it just depends. Also, what you're going to put in. If you're going to put things in that you want to protect a bit more, then wadding works quite well,
Yes,
doesn't it?
definitely. And then the other thing, which is something that I've never used until
You know,
recently,
Styleville. I
is
love
Styleville. Oh my
Styleville.
gosh.
It's amazing because you can run it through your machine and it
Yes.
just goes through.
I know.
It doesn't. I always
No.
thought you'd need a thicker needle, or it would.
That's right, or a walking foot. I haven't got a walking foot
No,
yet.
you just run through.
It just runs through, which is brilliant. So if you want a bag with a bit more body, then I suggest using the
And we
Styleville.
have
We
got.
happen to have.
We happen to have. Wow, what a coincidence! We
I know,
happen to
isn't
have
that funny?
some. I don't know where that came from. We've got Styleville here. This is a half a metre, so 50 by 72 centimetres piece. How much would you need for that
I
bag?
would think I need a tape measure.
Would you have enough for?
I'm just wondering. I don't know off the top of my head. Half a metre might be fine.
Well, do you know what? We'll find out. Here we go. So if you lay... But, I mean, I've used it for loads of things for padding out. I made a cat house with it once.
Oh,
With a cat
wonderful.
house. And it's very structured, so it's like almost putting
Just.
a cardboard on,
Yeah.
but it's very soft as well. So, yeah, it
Yeah.
has that thickness.
Yeah, just about. I mean, the other alternative is, I'm just thinking, that's got the side panels on. So definitely, if it was just...
If it was just for centre, you could. Or you
The
just need a couple
two-
of pieces instead. But
then what you do is... Plenty of room.
okay, so you could do it with one piece.
Yeah, one piece.
But it's
will
really
get-
useful for bags or just a bag base, anything where you want a little bit more structure, even like a little wash bag or a cosmetic bag that you want to really stand out. But it's really nice to sew with because it just
Oh, it
whizzes through
is.
the machine.
It's lovely. And, thank you.
Thank you.
Um,
So
what-
and it's fusible as well.
Yes,
So
that was
it's
the other thing I didn't know about.
$6.99 for the 50 by 72 centimetre piece, but it's one of those really good things. Like you need to have interfacing, you need to have Styleville, you need a bit of fusible fleece, and then you can use it for so many different things. I
yeah.
used one for sewing machine cover.
Oh, yes.
Because it just made it really
Anti-padded.
stand out. But
Yes.
it's brilliant product.
Yes, really, really nice. The other alternative is if you wanted to, you can have your bag with the fusible fleece. And then what you could do is you could do your base with the Styleville
Okay.
and also your sides with the
Right.
Styleville. So that would give a little bit more structure to
That's
the bag.
a good idea, isn't it? So you just give structure around the sides, and then if
Yes.
you wanted to be a bit more frugal with it and use it for
Yes.
other things. Oh, that was a really good tip.
Yeah.
I haven't
So,
done that. I'm kind of an all or nothing.
I
But
know it's understanding the
Okay.
fleeces and the interfacings and things like that, and what you can use them for. Right.
So we've got about 15 minutes
Ooh,
left.
lovely.
But I love the whole interfacing and wadding talk because it's sometimes I don't always get the time to go through that. do we?
No, and I felt because the bag itself was very straight stitches, you didn't want to sort of see me just sewing.
But also,
I-
it's like, you were saying about demystifying the bags. It's these little things that make bags look a bit more professional, isn't it?
It definitely does, and as I say, just to give it more structure, it's still washable. So
Oh, is it?
it
Oh,
can
right,
be.
okay.
What I would suggest doing is taking obviously off the strap. I don't
Yes.
think I'd wash that, but the rest of the bag, even though you've got the little D rings, you should be
Yeah, it's
able to
all
wash it
washable,
and
yeah.
everything. One little thing that I did notice actually with the pattern, and I've done two now, and I have noticed that actually the base is slightly the pattern for the base, and please just bear in mind the pattern for the base was about an inch or so bigger than it should be.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, what have I done wrong? Have I used the wrong seam allowance? All of that sort of thing. And it's not. It is just about an inch difference.
Right,
So that's the
okay.
only thing that I would suggest to you.
To check.
Is just check. And the way I did that was I actually machined the base. I'll show you on the other one. I machined the base on both well, one side, and then I pinned it on the other. And then when I flattened the base out, I thought, oh, there's a little bit extra. So you may need to trim it. That's the only thing that I would say on the base.
Well, that's good. At least it's that way.
Yes. Yes,
You need
not
to
too
trim
small.
it. But then sometimes, you know, it's nice to be able to do that, because if you've got your seam allowance off a bit,
yes,
it's nice to have a little bit of leeway that you can trim then.
Definitely, definitely. The other thing that I would say on the base as well is make your seam. So the seam allowance, they say, is 1 centimetre or ½ an inch.
Right.
Okay. Well, ½ an inch to me is 1.25.
Which is definitely 12 mils.
Yes. So, but whatever seam allowance you use, whether you use the metric one or the inches, just do it the same for the whole bag.
Yeah, don't mix and match.
No, no. So what I did was just mark where the actual seam allowance was for the base. Also, do you remember I said about the side panels? If you just mark on the base as well with your friction pen, so it won't show once you've stitched, mark those 2 pieces. So that's the center panel. So this part, once you've got your seam allowance on it, this is where this is going to go. So you're actually just matching the seam there and there.
So if you're making this bag, it'd be really useful to watch this back on YouTube.
Yeah.
And as you're doing it, then you can watch Cara go, oh, that's how she did the base.
Yes. So these are just little hints and tips really for, you know, assembling it. So just mark those. And as I say, that's where the seam of the side panel will make.
Oh,
you can see.
Yeah, that makes
there.
quite a difference, just so you can get that matching up. And,
yes.
And it's just little things like that. So it really is, you know, it's just straight sewing, isn't it? But it's just these little techniques that help to get that really, because your finished bag is so neat. It's neat and perfect.
Right. So shall we have a look? We've got a little bit of time. So
okay, so you made the strap from the canvas.
Yes, so I've actually made the strap from the canvas. And if I take my other little pieces, I can show you. Sorry, I should have got this all out earlier.
That's fine. No, it's fine.
And I love this colour.
It's really lovely, isn't it? So
nice.
In this bundle, the yellow bundle, you just get the gold, and in the other 2 bundles, the silver. But it does coordinate really well with it.
It does. It really does. So
actually looks like a really professional, a really lovely bag.
So the strap is exactly the same as these little tabs at the side. And what you'll do is you'll cut your piece out, then you'll move that up, then you'll fold the sides in, and then you fold in 1 centimetre and 1 centimetre and fold the whole thing in half again. And then that should fit your D-ring.
So it's just nice and neat.
Yeah, so you do exactly the same with the actual strap itself, so it's just longer. And that's the same technique. So I'm going to just whiz this up on the machine. So you'll machine all the way round, because when this is attached to the bag, it's not actually going into a seam or anything. This will actually sit on the outside of the bag.
Oh,
so
okay.
You want it,
so
and you can trim any loose ends off
it's
or
got to be
anything
nice
like
and
that.
neat.
Yes, yeah. So if we just whiz this through.
So do you need to have the swivel clip on the bag?
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. You could actually attach it, depending on the length of the strap.
Yes, that's true. So you don't have to. You could just attach the top of the D-ring to that if you wanted to.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just going to go round and sew, and you'll notice on the, find the foot, you'll notice on the strap as well that I've done some top stitching.
Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? Do you need to have that, or is that just detail?
It's just detail, really.
It'd be quite nice, actually. You could do it in a sort of a pretty, like a contrasting thread as well, couldn't you?
Oh, definitely. When I was at home, I didn't have this colour thread, and I didn't have sort of like a grey or anything like that. So I chose a cream.
Oh, okay.
But you can choose, you can pick up the green. I think the green would look really nice.
Wouldn't it? And then, or if you're on your machine, if you've got any sort of special stitches, even just a zigzag, to be honest, would look quite nice, wouldn't it?
Yes. As you say, you could quilt.
But you have all these stitches on our machines and think, I've no idea what to do with these. But this is where you could actually use them.
Yes, you can start playing around with it.
I've got hundreds on mine. I never use them.
Whoops. And when you're actually machining through quite a few layers here, so just be careful.
Did you find you all right with a normal needle, or did you have to use a jeans?
No, normal needle. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to go round, drop your needle down at the corners and then turn. I've also lengthened my stitch length.
Okay, why?
Because it's top stitching and it looks a little bit
Oh,
nicer.
okay, right, yeah.
Just going to move, because when you think about it, you've got 6 layers of
Yes,
fabric.
and you've got a normal needle for that.
Yeah,
so
normal needle and
good.
normal foot. And then...
Yeah, I guess it's important to spend a bit of time on these because they're really visible, aren't they?
Yes, yes. I would take a little bit more time than I am taking now, but I just wanted to show you this is exactly the same method.
Well, everyone's going to be looking at the bag and go, did you make that? Show me. Show me. You go, yes, look at my lovely top stitching.
Exactly.
Do you know how long I spent on this?
Exactly.
They go, I love your choice of green thread. You have to think of all these things, don't you?
I
when you're doing
know,
stuff?
I know. So you can do a locking stitch there rather than reverse, because you don't really want to sort of have, you know, over extra stitches. So oops, pull the thread through there.
Perfect.
Right, okay. I'm going to show one bit of it.
And then that's...
So that's going to be then ready.
And that goes on to, oh, I can see on here, that goes onto the side of the bag.
Yes, so that will go onto the side. So you do exactly the same, but with extra. I mean, with this one, I've actually only just done the single. And what I will do is when I attach it, I'll do the square around there.
Right, to give it that extra strength.
Yeah, and also, as I say, you can just trim off any of the loose threads or anything. And also when you're attaching it, rather than attach it like that, where you can see the all the different layers, attach it with that one just down slightly.
That's a really good tip, isn't
so
it?
You're
so that you haven't got all layers together. You've got one. That's a really good. I've never done that.
So what I'll do, and very, very, because that is a lot of thickness.
Right.
I actually hand
crank.
Yeah, hand crank the machine, just across that bit. And then you'll just do your square. Maybe do it a few times, and that just makes sure that that's nice and stiff. And that,
yeah, but I like that idea about the overlapping, because that makes it a bit neater, doesn't it? You haven't got all the bulk.
That's right.
Sitting behind it slightly. But yeah, I guess if you take it nice and slow, then you're not going to break your needle.
No, no. And then for the actual handle itself, you've got this gorgeous swizzle clip. This
really
antique,
like that.
Yeah, it's really, really nice.
Lovely
so
colour.
You've made your strap in exactly the same way, and then you pass your strap through the actual swivel clip, and then you come back about a couple of inches. So don't worry about this end of the strap.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be seen. So you're going to overlap that by a couple of inch and a half. Then you're going to fold that over.
And that's this end here, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, you want that to be really, really nice and strong. So I don't know if you want me to machine that, but I will machine that down here, across and down, and that will then secure that.
We got about 5 minutes. So.
Okay. I'd like to try and cover a little bit on the actual bag as well. So then you'll take your strap and you'll pass it through the slider.
I always get really confused when I do this, but I think, oh, which bit am I going
I
round
know.
and
So
through?
you can see that's actually gone over the top of the slider.
Right.
I've already done the next stage. In fact, I will be... No, I won't undo that because it is quite fiddly. So what I wanted to do was just show... So you're going to pass your strap over the slider, then down through the swivel clip, then back up, and then this bit, if you actually extend your strap over the slider like that, you've got a bit more space, and you'll feed your strap over the slider again. So just to show you again, the main part of the strap is over the join. Okay, so that's the bit where you're going to fold that up through.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess when you've actually got it in your hands, it will make more sense when you're actually doing it.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is clear enough. And then you'll again fold that back on itself.
And is all that in the books? It explains it.
A little bit, not
fully, but
but that's why I wanted to sort of show this. So then you'll machine round this again, I'll just pop the clip
in a
there.
square to
Yeah.
make it nice and strong.
And then this is where your strap slides.
Fantastic. That makes,
Okay.
yeah, no, that all makes great sense. I love that. That's a really good tip. But again, you know, if you're doing it yourself and you're not sure, just re-watch this on YouTube, and then you'll be able to see exactly how to do it.
So the next part I'm going to do is on the one that is very similar to that.
Okay.
Is actually, so the panels, so we said about you can have the dark in the centre and then the two outer flanking panels in the contrast, and then the side panel can be in the canvas or it can be in the contrast fabric.
Okay.
So you can have either. So these are just machined down there. You attach the side panel to one of the pieces and then you'll attach it again. So this was where I said about that little flicky bit.
Yeah, so I think that's to take into account the seam allowance, because
Yeah.
otherwise when you put it together, the angle of it,
Yes.
you would lose a part and it
Yeah.
wouldn't be as straight to the top. But they match up now.
So what I'm going to do, got a pin somewhere.
I think there was some,
I've got
some
some. Yeah.
on the shelf underneath you.
I'm just going to pop a couple of pins. So this is the side panel attached.
So you put the side panel on one side
yeah.
and then you sew the front to the back.
And do the same on the other side.
So I think that little bit is just to stop the seam allowance
Yeah.
taking part of out of the angle.
Yes. And as I say, I think I used a centimetre on here rather than 1.25.
But as long as you use the same seam allowance throughout, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know, but it's a bit like when you're making a cake, isn't it? And they say don't mix grams and ounces.
Yes.
You know, if you've got, it says 8 ounces of sugar. I can't remember what the grams are for that, but you're not allowed to mix it, are you? And I think it's the same with any sewing, is that because they can't convert exactly precisely.
No.
You've got to use one measurement or the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
And everyone has their preference.
Yeah. So I'm just doing a locking stitch at the top, and then I'm just with the seam allowance. It's a nice machine.
Nice. And it's just normal straight stitching?
Yes, normal straight stitch. In fact, you've just reminded me it should go down to a normal stitch. Don't leave the top stitching because it won't be as fine. So straight down to the bottom. Just going to do the other side. Again, a locking stitch at the bottom.
Just to secure it?
Yeah. I don't know why that goes so slow.
Yeah, so this yellow colourway is the most popular.
It is so
pretty.
pretty.
I don't know whether that's because that's the one that you're making, or it is very pretty, isn't it?
So then we'll do the other side.
And it's just great, isn't it, to just have a kit that comes to you and you've got everything you need
You
in
have, and I think that's the beauty of this one, is that you've got all the they call it hardware. I didn't realise.
Hardware.
I know for the actual, the bag, because it is hard to source. It is hard to find.
That's why it's called hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to do with being hard, it's just it's hard to source.
So the lining is made in exactly the same way.
Right, so you
haven't got the panels.
Oh, okay. So is there a separate pattern for the lining?
Yes. So that was the one that I cut half of it and put it on fold.
Okay. So if you didn't want to do the panel, if you wanted to keep it a bit simple, you could use
just,
the same pattern for the lining for the front and the back.
Yes, absolutely.
And you could have the canvas on the outside and the lining in the in.
Yes.
You know, if you were just
you could have a plain one.
Yeah. If you just wanted to keep it simple, or if you were just starting off, think, I don't want to do panels, then you could do it that way, because it's just a really nice shape. I guess it's really good for laptops.
Oh, you can put
folders.
People are going back to school, back to college, or anything like that.
But
so
it's a really good carry. Oh, it looks like a A-line skirt.
I know. I said if I was about a size 0,
yes,
that would be
that is.
All right.
That's a very nice A-line mini skirt.
It's lovely. I like it with the panel, actually.
It is actually very slimming.
Get a bit carried away here.
Yeah, I know. We're now make the larger skirt. Make it larger.
So I don't know how long we've got. How long have we got?
We've got a couple of minutes.
Okay. You would press this and you can top stitch it again. So this is the side panel, and the same on the other side. Just get rid of any extra fabric.
Okay.
And then here we go.
Yeah.
So right sides to right sides.
And then you just sort of pin, yeah, so I think we've only got like a minute left. So
yes.
you just
so
pin the base.
yeah, but do you remember those marks that I?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Very
I just
important.
wanted, yeah.
Oh, no, that's
Oh,
important
look,
to know.
there you go.
So because you put the marks on,
Yep.
you now know. Well, that's worth knowing because it's often you get to the end and you think, oh, I wish I'd done that. I've now got to try and work out, get the pattern piece and do it. So if you did it at the stage that you did,
right
it would
at
be
the
a lot
beginning.
easier.
So those marks match that seam of the side piece.
Perfect.
Okay. And then...
Very good tip. So you're a bag making expert now.
I don't know about that. I'm still learning. I
know.
never, ever, ever stop learning. It's like embroidery. I have been embroidering for years and I'm still learning.
I know. I constantly come across new stitches and think, well, I've never heard of that.
No, that's right, which is lovely.
I know, although then
that.
you find out it's actually just a different name for another stitch.
Yes. So I've just popped the pins there, and what I would do, this is the way I would do it. I would sew from that dot. Do you remember the dots that we did?
Yes.
I'd sew from there to there.
Yeah.
Then I'd do exactly the same on the other side. So again, matching your seams. Like that. And then, so like that, and then again, so there, and then I'd sew along there.
Oh, okay. Now that's a really good tip. So match those points first so you know that you've got them in the right place and then sew all the way around.
Yes. And what I did as well is I actually cut a diagonal to there. So I cut from the point there in there on that side. And then it was much easier to turn that.
Right, yes, so you just clip the corner. Okay,
yes, so I just clip the corner.
that makes really good sense.
So then you make the outer like that. Then you'll put the right side of the outer, so you'll turn it all the way through. In the meantime, you've actually attached the magnetic clips, and I've put some
a bit of interfacing that's in the bundle onto there.
So it'd be right sides to right sides. Leave a gap in the bottom of the actual lining.
Yeah.
Don't forget the gap. How many times have I made bags?
Lots of times. And then I have to cut the gap. So, but if you do forget, you can always use a seam ripper, can't you?
You can.
And open it up because, yes, I've forgotten to.
So then you'll machine them together and then turn them all the way through, close the seam at the bottom of your lining, top stitch around. Then I added the side D-rings.
Yeah.
And then
it's done.
Bag's done.
Well, thank you ever so much. That's wonderful.
Right.
Really good. Yeah,
okay.
So we'll see you in an hour.
Yes.
Where we're going to do embroidery.
Yes.
And I'm going to do a quick roundup of the bundles and the kits. So we're just going to show you how to shop if you've not done it before, and then we'll just go through the bundles.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, see you later.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Well, that was a great demonstration, wasn't it? I really want to make that bag. It was lovely. So if you love the bag and you would like to buy the bundle that we've selected, all the fabrics and the hardware you need. The first bundle and the most popular one that Cara was making is the White Flowers on Lemon Trapeze Bag Bundle, QTXC47. You get 1 metre of the ochre mustardy colour canvas, pure cotton canvas. You get 1 metre of this beautiful lemon floral blossom print that goes with it. You get 1 metre square of iron-on medium weight interfacing, which is perfect for if you want to strengthen the bag and give it a little bit more support. And you'll actually have more than you need there, so you can use a bit further products. And then you get the D-rings, the slide buckle, magnetic cloth, and the swivel clip, and that's everything you need to make that one. For the next one, it is the blue kit, the blue and white flowers trapeze bag bundle. You get 1 metre of really rich, neat navy blue cotton canvas, 1 metre of this lovely pale, real sort of pale sky blue floral blossom print. Again, you get the interfacing, and then you get all the hardware that you need to create the bag, and that's the one that we've got hanging up on the stand. If you want something a little bit brighter, a bit richer, you know, I know we haven't got this one made up, but, you know, just look how beautiful this is. Really, really deep, hot, vibrant pink. And with this lovely floral, I like the fact that the floral is navy backed as well. They really contrast well. And this will take you more into, I mean, you could use it for summer because it's floral, but it will take you into winter because it is really bright. So if you've got your black coat on over the winter, this is perfect with it. Then you've got your metre of interfacing, and exactly the same. You've got all the hardware, but it's silver, so it matches. So that code is LNXC38, and again, $34.99. Don't forget, only one postage of $3.95, and then it's free for the rest of the day. But remember, in order to make this, because obviously this is the bundle of all the fabrics, you will need to buy the book, but the book does have 20 patterns. Now, a lot of the it's only $13.99, so it's 70 pence a pattern. And remember, a lot of the bags that are in this book, you will be able to use this bundle to make, because this is one of the bigger bags in it, and obviously probably not the carry-all bag or the duffel bag, but because you get 2 meters, I would imagine that many of the bags in here you will be able to make. And actually, because Cara said there is leftover fabric, some of the smaller, like little wallet purses and the bum bags and things, you'll probably be able to make out of the leftover. So, I mean, it's been a really popular, it is a lovely, lovely book. I think it's well photographed. The instructions look quite simple and easy to read. And, you know, when we flicked through it early, we saw, you know, you've got such a range from, you know, your nice big carry-all bag down to little bum bag. So there's a lot in here. That's the one that Cara made, but you can see how different it looks when you use different fabrics. But I was trying to find the big carry-all bag because that's a really nice one. I think you could do so much with this. I mean, that one there, the small sports bag. Yes, look, that uses 1 metre of fabric for the outside and 1 metre for the lining. So, you know, if that's one of the bigger bags. So if you buy the bundle and you get the book as well, there are lots of different choices and options you can use. But it is just, you know, your real basic. It will give you lots and lots of choice of bags. And if you've not done bag making before, then start with it. Don't be daunted by it. You know, and Cara's gone through all the interfacings and different ways of whether you want a really stiff sort of the bag with the style veil that has that really strength to it, or whether you just want a softer padded look, then you can buy the iron-on wadding, or just the interfacing that comes with this for just something a bit softer. So after the break, which is just about to come up, we've got some brand new fabrics to show you. They're really lovely, and there's a really good choice, and we've got some more books as well. Love a craft book, and I've had a good look at them this morning. There's a really nice selection there. So oh, I've been talking too much. I need to have a cup of tea. So you go make a cup of tea, I'll go make a cup of tea, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes to talk about fabric and books.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Hello, I'm Catherine Wright. I'm from Leicestershire Craft Centre, which is based in Market Harborough. I love all kinds of sewing, but probably my favourite thing to do is dressmaking. But I also teach patchwork and free motion embroidery and anything to do with textiles, really. I love to have a go at felting and crochet and knitting and, oh, you name it, I'll have a go at it. So I started sewing when I was 7. My mum taught me to sew, and the very first thing I made was an apron. But I'm a terribly impatient person. I just want to get on with the project. So I didn't wait for her to help me cut it out, and I cut it out myself, and I didn't know you had to have a seam allowance, so I made the world's smallest apron, and my mum still has it somewhere. Sewing tips, I would say, I teach a lot of people to sew, especially beginners, and I would say don't get disheartened, take your learning journey slowly. Don't expect to suddenly make a ball gown or suddenly make a king size quilt. Build up your skills, you know, slowly. And I would also say the iron is your friend. Use your iron a lot. It makes your sewing look so much better. It helps you get things in place where you want it before you sew, and is a really handy thing to have.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
There are two ways to shop with us, either via our website, which is www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down past the live programme and either click on the Shop Our Catalogue banner to shop via category, or shop today's products by scrolling through the list under the email newsletter sign-up form. The other way to shop is via our UK call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
Now, I got to sewing through various methods. It seems like a perfect storm almost. There's my grandfather's treadle singer sewing machine when I was a little boy. That was just absolutely fascinating to play with. And then there's my husband, Clive, who was also a sewer, but hadn't done any for a while when we first got together. So watching him get back into it also encouraged me. And to learn the skills myself, I went on a course with Sew Me Something, run by Jules Fellner, who I'm sure you've seen around, and she did one of her lovely introduction to sewing courses, and here I am. Now, something you may not know about me is that I once appeared on Blue Peter. It was a very long time ago when Anthea Turner was doing the programme, and I used to play in the Warwickshire Youth Orchestra at the time, but to earn my badge, I played the part of the triangle. I look forward to seeing you all really soon on Sewing Street, where I'm going to be showing you how to make lots of lovely things.
If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page. Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
There are two ways to shop with us, either via our website, which is www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down past the live programme and either click on the Shop Our Catalogue banner to shop via category, or shop today's products by scrolling through the list under the email newsletter sign-up form. The other way to shop is via our UK call centre, which is 0800 001 4433.
And welcome back. We've only got 45 minutes in this hour. How can you have 45 minutes in an hour? That's a bit odd, isn't it? It's new time here. New time, 45-minute hours from now. We ran over a bit with Cara, but you know, she had so much to tell us, and I think it was really useful because I think she really helped to demystify that all over wadding and what sort of wadding to use on a bag. So it was really useful. Anyway, so we're going to whiz through, which is difficult because we've got some amazing new fabrics. So the first ones that I want to show you are these beautiful Michael Miller fabrics. I love Michael Miller fabrics. But they're good quality, well, you know that anyway, but I really like the prints. I think they're designed very well, and they're always very considered. The colours are very balanced, but I wouldn't say they're, you know, modern as in sort of really brights and geometrics, but they're up to date. They are echoing the sort of the colours and the tones and the feels and the prints of things that are in fashion at the moment. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all the same print, but they're all in different colourways. So should we get one out so you can have a really good look? Now, as I said before, these are being sold today by the half metre. So if you want half a metre, put 1 unit. If you want a metre, put 2, and so on. And you will get it in 1 cut piece. So this is the Janelle Fabric, and this one is in Aqua. So it's got this really lovely crisp white background, and it's a cherry blossom, which is odd, isn't it? Because cherry blossom is pink. When you come to the pink, you'll see what I mean. So it's exactly the same print, but all in different colourways. And it's lovely because you've got several different tones of blue coming out through the flowers here. You've got sort of a darker mid and white, and then the stamens are in a deep green, and then you've got the branches and the leaves, and then you've got this really pretty sort of like a seed stitch across there. So I mean, if you wanted to use this, if you were going to make a bag or a cushion, this would be brilliant to embroider and embellish, because there's lots of areas that you could echo with satin stitch or work seeding or backstitch over. It's one of my favourite. I'm really into embroidery today, aren't we? But one of the really nice things to do with the print fabric is to embroider it, and you can cut just a small piece. So say you wanted to make a really, you know, pretty little cosmetic purse or wash bag. You know, you wouldn't use very much fabric for that, but you could just echo some of the design with some stitching. And if you haven't done much embroidery, everyone knows how to do backstitch, really simple. You could just backstitch over some of the stamens, or you could do a little bit of satin stitch, and it just lifts the design in the fabric and gives it more of a sort of three-dimensional quality. So that's the Aqua. I'm going to move on next to the blue. Now, you know, this is a quilting cotton weight, but it's also, although they say it's quilted, that's just a weight that's just right for quilting, but it's very good for dressmaking as too. So this one, exactly the same print, but with a blue background. It would make a really lovely wrap skirt or kimono type. You don't have to use it for quilting or, you know, home furnishings and home stuff. It's really nice. So beautiful little tea dress. You know, you could make it now ready for the spring, or, you know, or indeed wear it in the winter. But again, you know, if you want more than half a metre, put more, you know, 2 units, 3 units. It is in multiples of half a metre, and you will receive it in one piece. And this is the blue background. But because we've got 6 different fabrics here, all in the same print but with different backgrounds, they'd be perfect for a quilt, because you've in total, there's 3, if you bought half a metre of each, you've got 3 metres of fabric. Because you know that this is one collection, all the fabrics will go together. So, you know, I'll show them all. You know that when fabrics are designed by these design houses, they have a colour palette. They don't just randomly have a collection of fabrics with 25 different colours. You know, there is a colour palette going on here. So the navy that's in the background of this one is echoed in the stamens of this one. I need to come a bit further down here. The dark brown, which is called dirt, that really bothers me. Why did they call it dirt? Why didn't they call it... They should have called it chocolate or something, or brunette or something. But the dark brown background of this one is echoed in the stems of the cherry. Well, they're not, they're branches of the cherry blossom. So if you wanted to make a quilt with it, all of these colours go together. What a lovely log cabin it would be, because you've got some darks and lights. You've got the pink here. So let's do... Oh, you've just gone the dirt. I'm just trying to check what we've got. That's because I keep moving them around. Shall we have a look at the navy blue next? Because I think that one's really stunning. So this is a lovely standalone fabric. I mean, and it would be very good for dressmaking, but again, you know, to put in your patchwork and quilting. You know, if you've got 1/2 metre, you've got 2 cushions. These are beautiful. You know, if you've got a guest bedroom or your own bedroom and you just want to update it a little bit, you could make just a quick cushion, or, you know, just buy it as a plain fabric and quilt it. You could use maybe the dark for the inside of the quilt, and if you know you just want to do something simple, you don't really want to do the patchwork, you could bind it or put a border in with this fabric here. So if I just, so I always do it this when I'm trying to work out if a binding or a border works properly. I always lay them like that, and if you fold that one like that, then you can fold that one on top, and then that gives you a really good idea of what that would look like as a binding. But then if you think, oh, well, I don't know, actually, maybe the pink would be better, do the same thing, lay them down, and then you can put that one on top like this. And then if I fold that one over and bring it forward, and you see, and then you suddenly got a difference. And then sometimes what I do is I have them all coming along so you can see. But maybe you just want to bind the edge with that. You know, you could buy just a 1/2 metre for the binding. Look how lovely that is. So, you know, if you've got some ideas for quilts and things, or, you know, maybe a throw or a lap quilt, or, you know, this would be great for outdoors in the summer, you know, if you wanted to have a really pretty picnic blanket, because you know that the whole collection goes together, the colours all work. If we haven't looked yet at the white, what is this white one called? The one with the white background and the pink. This one's just, that one's just called white. So again, look at that, you've got that dark brown, which is in the dirt fabric, oddly. But this one and the other pink one, you can really see this is obviously cherry blossom. It's so pretty, isn't it? But again, you know, this would be perfect for echoing with embroidery or fussy cutting. You know, you could use this for EPP. The sort of the size of the flower here, it would be perfect to cut for a small hexagon. There's just so many options. I think it's very fresh. It's very floral. But what, you know, what would, it'd be really interesting. I mean, you know, always trying to come up with different ideas of what you do. What would you do with it? If you buy this, what are you going to do with it? I just think, you know, even a little drawstring bag, you know, when you have, if you're going away and you want to put your underwear in something, a really pretty drawstring bag. Or ideal for gifts, if you buy 1/2 metre of one of these fabrics, you know, if you are thinking of buying somebody, I don't know, some socks or a piece of clothing or some toiletries, make a little drawstring bag out of one of these, because it is so pretty. And the Michael Miller fabrics are very soft. I mean, they're the normal quilting weight, but if I drape it, you can see it has a very, very soft touch feel to it. But this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to buy the 1/2 metre or more, depending on what you want, of this whole collection, because it does blend. I don't know which one I like the most, actually. I think I like the navy. But if I was going to buy the navy, I think I would buy that blue with it. If I was only going to buy 2, I mean, I'd like the whole collection, to be honest. But if you look at these 2 together, they look really lovely. You imagine if you cut these into half square triangles, how well that they would blend together. And what I love about when you do half square triangles is that because you're sort of cutting the squares, turning them into triangles, and then that you then get little glimpses and echoes of little prints here and there that just sort of come out at you through it. But I think those 2, that I do like that shade of blue, though. It's a really nice duck egg blue. But then, so then you've got the navy, then you want to have the blue, but then this one that's got the white background on it, that's called Aqua. They blend, if I put the 3 of them together like that, that's a lovely, lovely little trio. Yeah, so that's aqua, blue and navy, if you want to have those 3. So if you were just going to buy 3 and you don't want the whole collection, but then say you wanted to go for a warmer pink look, you could then have dirt. Can't believe they called it dirt. Dirt, pink and white. See, but look how lovely they blend together. You know, and you could use them for, You know, you could even use the dirt for a bit of the binding or a border, but it's a really lovely collection. If you wanted a set of cushions to pop onto your bed, buy 1/2 metre of each. You've got enough in 1/2 metre to make the front and the back of one cushion. But what you could do, you could make 3 cushions here, but swap the backs and the fronts. So you could have the front of one cushion in the white, and then you could have the back in the pink, and then you could have the front of that one, you know. And what a lovely effect. So if you've got just a plain white duvet cover, or this sort of pink or green colour, you know, a couple of hours, whiz up 3 cushions. It would look really lovely. But also what you could do is then get some of the iron-on wadding that we talked about earlier, the H640. I press that onto the back of the fabric, and then you can quilt it. So because these flowers, they're really pretty, you know, you could echo quilt around the outside. What that means is you don't follow stitching all the way around the edge. You just stitch just slightly outside, so you're echoing the edge of it. Or you could hand quilt it. Use a contrasting thread. You know, if you did quilted on here using the pink or the deeper brown or even the green, it would look really nice. But, you know, the 6 fabrics, they do go together. You know, you can see there, they are all the same, but you can start mixing and matching them. So you could put as well this white, the white and the aqua, because they've both got exactly, both got exactly the same white background. But one, you know, one is blue and one is pink, so they go really well together. So this is, if you've not seen it before, not seen us before, you will know, if you have seen, this is brand new to us today. So we haven't showed this before, but look how well those two together, because they are exactly the same mid-tone. So you've got the blue and the pink, but the background has got the same weight tone of colour, so they go really well together. So, you know, there's so many different options here that you could, you know, if you just want 1, you want 2, you want 3, you want all of them, but just have a think about what you could do. And then these two, again, they've got the same tone on the background, so you have got sort of 2 lights, 2 mids, 2 darks. You've got 3 pinks. I love this one. I mean, you know, they've got in the centre of that, well, the stamens, the filaments and the anthers. I know that. Don't know why. Why do I know that? No idea. Anyway, but the stamen is that bit's the filament and that bit's the other. That's in the dark blue, which is echoed in the blue fabric. But this is what I love about the way that fabric designers work. I think if I drew this, I wouldn't think about putting blue ones in. But it really, really works. But it also means that if you then want to put a plain fabric with this, you can look at the print. You don't have to think, oh, am I any good at colour choices? Think, right, well, I'm just going to match a plain fabric. So, I mean, this is really good if you're ever quilting, or maybe you're making a bag or cushion and you've got a band across the top and you just want to put a plain, or you want to bind. Have a look at the print and just pick out one of the colours. And it actually doesn't matter which one. If it's one of the colours in the prints, you know it will go together. So you could pick out to bind this lovely deep blue. But equally, there's a really lovely deep salmon pink in here on all these little dots. That would go with it as well. So it just sometimes helps, because it is hard when you're trying to think, oh, I don't know what colour to put around the edge of this. Just look at the fabric, because the people who design this, they're quite talented. They've been to college and studied colour wheels and things. They know what they're talking about. Oh, okay. Oh, Sharon has said, oh, that's interesting, that she would use this for the see-through bag. You remember we talked earlier and I showed you with the PU on the outside and then the gather thing on the inside. Yeah, what a great idea, because you could have the dark blue for your winter and then you could have the medium blue, but it would look so pretty. And every time you met someone, they go, have you got a new bag? You go, well, not really. I've got a PU on the outside, but it would work really well. I just think this collection has been very considered, because it does go together and in many different ways of whether you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. But it is new to us today. So I would urge you to check out your baskets, is put them in, because it is proven to be really popular. You know, you can buy 3 meters of a quilt or just half a meter. Half a meter is so versatile. There's so many different things you can do with it. If there's any that you want to see again later on, then just let me know. Just message into the studio, No, that's the website. Ugh. studio@sewingstreet.com. Message into the studio. Studio@sewingstreet.com. You can tell it's only my second day, can't you? It's too many things. Just too many things to remember. I've lost some of the I've lost 2 of the stickers off the fabric as well. I have. Yeah, but luckily I have kept them. You see, because what we have to do, we have to put the stickers back on the fabric, put them back into their plastic bags so they're very neat and nice so that we have them for another time. But if the stickers fall off, it's very difficult. Because then we have to find out the numbers and write them down. So problem is they don't stick on very well. But if I just open one up, you can see how well they float. Look, you can see how the print repeats all the way across. So it's only $7.99 for half a metre, which, you know, is a good price for this quality of fabric. It is a high quality, it is a designer fabric. You know, we like at Sewing Street to bring you, oh look, I can hide as well. I have a cough now. That's great, isn't it? We like to bring you different qualities of fabric. Sometimes, you know, because sometimes you just want one hero feature print like this, but then you want to mix it with some plainer fabrics that you've already got in your stash or some that you want to buy. So, you know, that's why we do bring you all different ones, not just the high-end fabrics. You've got all different sorts. But, yeah, I think this is a great thing. I would probably buy a bit and keep it in my stash, but, you know, it's always nice to have, isn't it? Always nice to have, but there's so many things that you could do with it. And don't, you know, always remember dressmaking for quilt fabric. We always sort of think, oh, well, I can't, it's quilting fabric. Well, actually, it's the same weight as a cotton dressmaking fabric. So, whilst we're talking about quilting, I'm going to have to find it. We are going to talk behind the back. There it is! Da, da, da. We're going to talk about the Quilter's Bible. This is written by Linda Clements. I love Linda Clements stuff. I used to did some work with her on the Patchwork magazines, and we also used to work with her on Sewing Quarters. We featured many of her patchwork designs. There is not very much that Linda Clements doesn't know. She used to write all the technical features for Love Patchwork and Quilting. She does know everything, and this is, well, it really is the Quilter's Bible. So if you're new to quilting, and when they say quilting, they mean patchwork as well. Patchwork, quilting and applique is just a generic term. If you're new to that, this is your encyclopedia. If you're not new to it, there's loads in here that you can learn. It's got a foreword written by Lynn Edwards, MBE, and that says everything because she really, you know, she is the queen of quilting. So anyway, if you go through it, there's lots and lots. There's all the sort of tools, all the tools you'll need, all the materials. So, and I think sometimes when you're new to this, you think, well, I don't know what all these different things are, but it really does explain it. It is an encyclopedia. I do like the fact it's got the use in colour. I think that's something a lot of quilters struggle with. I struggle. I love patchwork and I love quilting and dressmaking, but I do struggle with colour, which is why I said to you, I quite often do my colour choices based on what someone else has put in the fabric. But it explains to you the depths of using colour and how you combine them. Really estimating fabric requirements, that's really hard, isn't it? You go into your quilt shop and you go, oh, I don't know how much I need. Tells you how to do it. All the basic techniques of pressing, marking, using templates, cutting shapes. But it's all the sort of questions that you would have are in here. And if you look at the way it's been presented, it's in a, you know, they're showing you how to cut a hexagon, how to use a rotary cutter, but they're really easy to understand and clear. They're illustrations, and I love that. I mean, they've got, you know, the hands and the rotary cutter, but they're beautifully illustrated, every single step. They talk about patchwork, types of quilts, types of settings, how to design, what are blocks. You know, I think sometimes you hear people say all these terms, and they go, oh yeah, well, it's a block, and yeah, we're going to use a bit of H640, and you think, well, I have no idea what you're talking about, actually. But, so, you know, these people, when they wrote these books, they had no idea what you were talking about either. But this explains it all for you. This is a brilliant book, definitely to buy for yourself. But if you've got a friend or family member who would like to have a go at patchwork and quilting and goes, oh, I don't know, you know, buy them this, give them for Christmas, or just give it to them now. But Because it is a really good introduction. It explains to people how it all works, how you do it. And then as you go through the book, you know, it then moves into hand. So you've got hand piecing, English paper piecing. Well, what's English paper piecing? Well, look, there's a whole chapter on it, so that's fine. And hand piecing. And then it gives you little projects here and there as well. So this is exactly how to make a template for English paper piecing, how to tack it, how to sew it together. And then it gives you a little project, how to make those quick summer cushions. Then it goes into machine piecing, and you know, this explains everything from 60-degree triangles to sewing in seams, speed piecing, curved seams, how to make different size blocks, you know. And I had a look through this earlier this morning, and I really don't think she's missed anything else. I mean, I was talking to you earlier about log cabins and how you do need a mixture of dark and light prints, which those Michael Miller fabrics work really well with. And in here there is the log cabin block. It explains exactly, there's your light fabrics on one side, there's your dark fabrics on the other. And you know, so when you get a fabric collection, quite often you'll find there will be some darks and some lights, and that it explains it to you. And then she shows you, right, once you've worked out how to do that, all you have to do is then get your blocks and turn them round. And when you start turning them different ways, you get different things. So if you turn them this way, you get barn raising. They're all log cabin blocks, they're just turned different ways. So if you do it that way, you get straight furrow. So just by playing with that and getting the elements of the dark and the light, and I think that's just something that you often think, well, I don't know what log cabin is. What are they talking about? It's explained in a way, it's not patronising at all, but this is what you need to know. Bargello, that's so popular, all of this. And Seminole, I know that Seminole is becoming sort of having a bit of a resurgence at the moment, which is basically, you know, cutting strips of fabric, sewing the strips together and then cutting those into pieces and then sewing them back together so that it's all staggered. And then there's lots of different patterns. Comes from the Seminole Indians of Florida, that's what the name is, but it's as similar to Bargello as in you're sewing strips together and then cutting, but then you can create all these beautiful patterns with it and bands, and then there's a project at the end to make a Seminole scarf. Oh, that's interesting. They've put a bit of wadding and they've used it as a winter scarf, but you could use that technique because you only need strips of fabric. It's quite good for scraps. You know, you normally, obviously, you would cut your strip across the whole of the fabric width, but if you say you only got fat quarters, you could cut them that way. But then it moves into Bargello, and I know how much everyone loves Bargello. And again, Bargello is one of those things you think that's really, really hard. I'll never be able to make that. But she really demystifies it. So she's got, you know, cut these fabrics into strips, sew them together, then cut them apart and then do them in the following order. I think that's a lovely thing to do. And then you can, you know, once you've worked with a lot of this, once you've got your head around the technique, it's quite easy then to carry on from it. There's so many, I mean, we could talk about this one all day, couldn't we? Patchwork with triangles, blocks using triangles, love half squares, triangles, flying geese, you know, what's a flying geese? Well, it's all in here. But it really is, and I love the way that you've got the odd project, lost my words, the odd project here, patchwork with curves. And I love, this is really good because sewing curves can be a bit tricky. She does cover that. But this chapter is about creating the illusion of curves. So you see this piece here, it looks like it's curved. This is called snail trail, this block. But it isn't. It's not one curve in it. It is all straight. So it's a mixture of triangles and squares, starting off with very small triangles and squares and moving up to bigger ones. And by joining them all together, you create this appearance. And even this one, this windmill star block here, it looks curved. It's not. It's completely straight. But by joining lots and lots of them together, and I think that's really good. Storm at Sea used to be one of the most, or probably the most popular quilt pattern that we ever sold on Sewing Quilter. And it is because it looks curved, but it isn't. It isn't. But as I said, she then does talk about curves. How do you sew a curved seam? You know, if you're doing Dresden plate and that has curves and people, oh, I don't know how to do that. Or Drunkard's Path, where you've got, this one is Drunkard's Path, where you've got a quarter of a circle sewn into a square. this explains how to do it, and it's all about doing lots and lots and lots of pins. And you know, it's one thing that people often get put off by it because they don't know how to do it. So this one here, clamshell, that's again curves, and that's quite a specific technique, but she covers it. And in every, I mean, I just can't believe how much we've got in here. Pictorial patchwork. There is so much. Foundation piecing. Now that's something that people get a bit scared of, but it's all in here. Making a foundation piece. I love foundation piecing. It was one of those things I didn't like, and the reason I didn't like it is because I couldn't do it. Which I think is actually a good reason to not like something. So I sat down and watched many YouTube videos one night on my iPad and my earphones, and then I had to go, and now I'm a little bit obsessed with foundation piecing. Loads of different memory boxes. There's a thing. No, and then puff patchwork, that's a really nice thing. So in amongst this, there are little like this puff play quilt. So she shows you how to do the technique, she explains it, but there's just a little project sort of popped in here. There's not a project for everything. Folded patchwork. People love I love cathedral window. The folded star is always popular. Secret garden, that's lovely. And, you know, it's one of those things you think, I'm not really sure how to do that. She even covers Japanese folded patchwork. This is sort of your reference book you'll keep coming back to. So you'll hear about prairie points. What a prairie point. Oh, I wonder if it's in that. Yes, of course it's in that book. Look, there it is. And there's a little project as well. So again, it's perfect for you. Where if you're a beginner, absolutely perfect because it's got everything in. But if you have done patchwork or quilting or applique, all three, there will be a lot in here. And I know, you know, when we introduce new techniques to you, and we show you new techniques, you always really embrace them and then send us photos of what you've done. And everyone loves to try something new, even if it's just small. So Japanese folded patchwork is probably not something everybody has tried, but it's ever so stunning. And there was a chapter on how to do it. And the odd project as well. And it also, so we're going patchwork, there's more projects here, quilt art, sashing. That's something, you know, what is sashing? Well, it's those bits of fabric strips you put between your blocks. But how to do sashing, how to choose it, different sorts of sashing. Do you have sashing with squares in or long bits? Putting borders in. How do you measure your quilt for your borders and how much do you need? Sewing mitered borders, that's really important because if you want to frame a quilt, and you could have 2 strips at the top and 2 strips at the bottom. If you sew a mitered border, which is in this picture here, that means that you've got angles going into it. It looks like a picture frame because you know how picture frames are angled in the corners. And you know, there's a whole piece about that. Applique, really love applique. And you've got, she covers how to make templates. She does hand applique, needle turn applique. She covers machine applique, padded applique. This is where you applique a shape onto fabric and then with some tweezers, you leave a little bit unsewn. You push a little bit of wadding inside and it gives it that slight 3D appearance. So if you're making a quilt and maybe you've got some applique motifs on it, if you pad them slightly, I mean, quilts are very 3-dimensional anyway, but it makes it even better. I know we're still on this book. I know, but there's so much in it. There's so much. You've got edging. There's all sorts. So I would be amazed if anyone knows everything in this book. I mean, it's got Hawaiian applique. Even Linda, well, although except for I'll give Linda that since she wrote it. But Hawaiian applique, which is a reverse applique, is a beautiful technique. And she shows you how to make a pattern yourself or how to use patterns. And how to do the actual technique. But if you've ever seen really old Hawaiian applique quilts, they're always red and white, ever stunning, but a really pleasant thing to do because they're all hand stitched. That's the reverse applique. Layers of applique, shadow applique, making a butterfly bag, inlaid applique, bias strip. So this is your stained glass window where you put the fabrics down and then you stitch black bias binding around them. But she also then explains, because you know you can't just leave you to that, how to make a bias strip. What is a bias strip? How do you use a bias maker? How to use a bias bar? I mean, there's just, I don't really think, she's got Celtic applique. Haven't done that. Oh, stained glass fuchsia, it's so lovely. So And then she moves into quilting. So we've done patchwork, we've done applique, and this is how to quilt, how to layer, how to make a quilt sandwich, how to choose a design. There's loads of different, whether you do free motion quilting or just straight quilting, lots of patterns and borders and ideas. And what I like is she back references. So the log cabin quilt here that we saw earlier, she's now showing you ideas of how to quilt it, and she's used the same diagrams and the same colours so that the book sort of links together, which is quite clever really, isn't it? How to mark quilting, how to do it, you know, how to hand quilt, whether you do it with a hoop or a frame, how, you know. And I think the hand illustrations are really pretty here. And then she's got little things like making cards, big stitch quilt, whole cloth quilting. That's where you just have one piece of fabric. You don't join, there's no patchwork involved, and you just quilt that one piece of fabric. And the detail and the joy and the beauty is in the quilting, not in the patchwork Celtic quilting. So, Shashko. She even got, I did wonder whether she'd put Shashko. There's, yeah, you know, and Shashko is kind of an embroidery and a quilting thing all together. It's sort of multi, and then it talks about machine quilting and making quilts. And a project in long-arm quilting, how to do tying. But, you know, this is, if you know somebody who would like to start patchwork quilting or applique, this is the perfect book. Buy it for yourself first, read it, then give it to them. Photocopy, although you know, mustn't do that. That's really naughty. Really naughty. How to do piping. But, you know, and I know Lynn Clement's designs. I've seen Linda Clement's. I've seen the way that she works and the technique pages that she used to write for the magazine. So this lady really does know her stuff. So a lovely, lovely book. We could talk about that in the morning. Yeah, $15.99. So I'm just tell you how many pages. How many pages in my $15.99 book? There are 256. So actually, and it really is the Quilter's Bible. That is fantastic value. Might have to come home with me, actually. Let's just put it under the table. See, no, it's gone, it's mine. Oh, okay, so Dawn asked, does the Michael Miller come as a bundle? No, it doesn't. It only comes as half meters, but you can make your own bundle. Buy 6 half meters, one of each, you've got a bundle. Make your own. Buy a metre of one, half metre of another. But yes, make your own bundle. It's like pick and mix in the sweet shop. You have to create your own. Sometimes we do bundles, sometimes we don't. It just depends on how we think people are going to prefer to buy it. Sometimes we'll do a bundle, but then we'll get a lot of feedback from people going, well, I only wanted that one fabric. So, yeah, it depends what you're going to make with it. We'll do a bundle if we've got something specific in mind. But no, make your own bundle. So, should we do these coloured Wright fabrics that I think are lovely? There are, I counted them, 13. They are, I'm going to open one of them. So, I'm trying to find, are these in order? No, I've taken out one. They're not now. Look, I've got number 3. Yes, this is number 3, this one of the order. So, I'm going to open this so you can see. So, they are a plain fabric. But no, they're not just plain. This is chartreuse. And they're slightly mottled. They look like, you know, when you've done that sort of dyeing thing, marble dyeing thing, but it's all in one colour. So these are your basic, you know, your basic solid fabrics. But because they've got that mottled look to them, it gives them a little bit more movement. Like that, movement. Gives it a bit more movement and areas of light and dark. So they're really good. Obviously, it's always good to have plain fabrics because you use them in your stash for linings, bindings, always good for handles, for bags to have a bit of a plain instead of, you know, solid. But what is lovely about these, and when they're only $3.99 for half a metre, so that's a really good, you know, just a basic fabric price, is that they do have that really nice texture to them, where you've got areas of light and dark. They'd be really good for patchwork as well. You know, like this one would be brilliant for grass because it's not just your plain solid. And I know sometimes when you put in plains, they are a bit block colour, aren't they? But if you want a little bit more interest, depth and 3-dimensionality to them. So that one is chartreuse. So But yeah, I think it looks like grass because we don't know what chartreuse is, so it looks like grass. So should we go through these in order from the top? See, so this one is not purple. This one is blackberry crumble. No, it's not called that, but it could be. But so you can see from this, can't you, with the overhead, you can see how you get those areas of light and dark. So it is plain, but it's not. It's plain with a twist. So that one is blackberry. This one is pink, but it's not just pink, it's bright pink. So that's lovely. It's really lovely, but look how lovely that is. I'm just kind of feels a bit 80s, that, to be honest, doesn't it? Purple and pink, but only because they were sitting together. But that looks really, they are really quite stunning together. They're very soft as well. I know this is, this is a less expensive fabric at $3.99, but it's pure cotton. It isn't lacking on quality at all, and actually it's got a really soft feel to it. So it's a really good thing if you've got a project in mind and you know you need a solid fabric for it, then perfect. But if you want to just sort of add a few fabrics into your stash as well of some colours that you like, well, we've done the green chartreuse, so we won't do that. We're going to go into red, which is not called red, it's called claret. Claret. So I would say this is scarlet. This is Christmas red, but a little bit more mottled. And look how nicely it shows up against the elf bundle. It's not really, that was a joke. There's no elf bundle, it was a joke. But it looks a bit like an elf, doesn't it? So that's a real, that's your standard red. If you need a red plain, this is nice. I really like these just because they've just got that interest. Just a little bit more, just a bit more movement in them. Now we're going on to denim. Denim. This is not denim, though, this colour. This is, God, Mediterranean sky. It's not denim at all. It really is not. I mean, I'm looking on screen now. It is that colour. It is Mediterranean deep waters or sky or something. It's a really lovely cobalt blue. That's what I would call it. Thank you very much for your kind message, Nicola. Yeah, what is she? Yeah, what channel is she watching? Brilliant. Brilliant presenting. She watching something else. Grey. Oh, see, how come they come up with like chartreuse and then they go grey? So, charcoal. No, this is slate, isn't it? Yeah, this is Birmingham Sky. The Birmingham Sky. No, I would say it's a slate colour. So the lighter bits are slate and the darker bits are a bit charcoal. I've got a fabric at home. I can't remember what it's a dark charcoal, but it's got like a grid. So it's a plain with a bit of interest. It's got a grid. I use so much of it because grey is one of those colours when you want something darker to stand out, but you don't want the starkness of black with it. So if I put it with the chartreuse grass, they look really lovely together. But if you put it with black, it would be too harsh. So grey, if you're ever going to have something in your stash, always have white and grey and red, only because I like red. But the grey is really, it's just a very useful colour because it will go with lots of things. It's very good. If you want to pipe or edge something and you're not sure what to do, grey is always a good option. It's a bit like thread, if you're sewing with lots of different colours, a pale grey is always a really good option. I know when I'm doing embroidery, if I don't know what colour to do, the alphabet or the letters, I always just go grey. Grey sort of works. It's not too brash, but it works with many colours. And this is really good because it is sort of a charcoal slate combination. Magenta. And this is the colour of Kat's car, is it? No. I need to see your car. That's amazing. Look, that's the colour of my car. It is. Good team. We'd look great next to each other in the car park. So this is magenta, which, yeah, it is magenta. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's kind of it's a pinky purple. And it goes really well. Hang on, is that the same as that one? Oh no. Oh yeah, so blackberry. Look at those three together. If you fancied making a purple quill, or if you wanted to make a purple bag, look at that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm confusing things. Now this one is magenta. That's a lovely colour. But you can see now how the tone is working as it comes through them all. Right, this colour is called purple. Purple. Yes, and it really is. It is purple. They got this one right. But I love, that's lovely, isn't it? It is. This is, you know that chocolate brand? I just had one. I found a box outside and I just had one of those purple chocolates. Oh, I know. I had to have a quick drink of water because I think I had chocolate on my teeth. But it is that colour. And then this one is called, oh, of course it's called orange. It's more Satsuma, I'd say. It's not vibrant, bright orange. It's more Satsuma. But lovely, bright, sunny, warm, fiery colour. This one is called Sky. Oh, yeah, definitely. Not Birmingham, though. Yeah, this is Cornish Sky. This is Cornwall summer holidays. Yeah, could you let us know if you're in Cornwall? Does your sky look like this? Yeah, could you have a look? Because I think it should do. But it is that kind of St Ives. They should have called it St Ives, shouldn't they? What's this one called? Is this one yellow? Sunshine on a rainy day. See, look. Look. Oh. And then we'll put... Oh, look at this. We can make a picture. So, there's the sky. There's the grass. And there's the yellow. That's lovely, isn't it? So that one's called Yellow. Again, featuring the mottledy thingy. And this one, Tan. Now, I think this looks like a camel. I'd go camel. Yeah. So, again, that's a really good basic, isn't it? There's what? Over the latte. This is the last one. Oh, the latte. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, actually. Yes, because Kat left a latte. Yes, I thought I'd left one on the side. So this is the colour of a very milky latte. But again, a really good basic blender fabric. If you buy a charcoal, and this will go with many things because it's warm. And then we've got, finally... Oh, and I said that one was Satsuma. Oh, weird. Yeah, it is. This is very tangerine. It's a really superly strong orange, and this one is one of the best-selling ones that we do. I think it's just bright, isn't it? It's bright and cheerful and poppy, and you can put all of these if you wanted to do some really close tonal ranges and things. You can put them together. Orange and purple always go because they are opposite each other on the colour wheel. Look at that. Woo! Woo! And then, you see, and then if you want to just, let's calm it down a bit of charcoal. So if you had some of this one, let's turn it around. We can play fabric here. Put that one there. Yeah. And then say we wanted to think, right, we want to bind it. We'll put that one there. Have you got time while I'm playing? Just one moment. Look. I need to pull that forward and then you can see. But you see what I mean? How that you might think if you were doing something, but this works with any combination. I don't know what to bind it with. I've got so many colours. This is so bright, but the charcoal just pulls it down again and disappears if you don't want it all to stand out. What a lovely set of fabrics. Yes. In Wimbledon, it's that colour. Oh, I'm going to Wimbledon. And that colour in Norfolk. Well, it's not that colour here, is it? I don't think. Okay, so Teddy thinks that orange is a neutral colour. Well, I guess it is. Well, I suppose it does, doesn't it? Because it's warm. It goes with the yellows. It goes with blue. It goes with... Yeah, I've never really thought about that. Or maybe orange is the new grey. Is that a film? No, that's black. Yeah, no, orange is now the new grey. Thank you very much for that tip. But again, if you want to buy any of the print fabrics as well, you can pick out any of these blenders that will go with them. I mean, we should have gone through some, shouldn't we? When we come back at 11 o'clock, which is not next, but next after, I'll keep these, and then because it's sometimes useful because I've got them here, I can match them. When we go through the next lot of fabrics, we can go through and I'll show you which ones go with which. So I shall keep them. So, coming up just now, we've got Cara coming back, which is great. She's going to go through embroidery right from the beginning with beginners stuff all the way through to much more complex stuff. I love embroidery. Well, I work for an embroidery magazine. Cara loves embroidery. So, you know, sit back, enjoy this when you're really going to learn something. And if you've got any questions about embroidery, between us, we should be able to answer it, fingers crossed. So, going to go get a drink of water. I might have one of those purple chocolates. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes with Cara. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick unpick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon. Hello everyone, my name's Cara Ackerman and I'm absolutely delighted to be here at Sewing Street. I actually originated from Hertfordshire, then went down to Hampshire and then it ended up in the East Midlands. I've been in the East Midlands for about 40 years now, which seems crazy, but 36 of those I actually worked with DMC Creative World, which was wonderful. I really, really enjoyed that. And then I decided to go freelance and that's how I got introduced to Sewing Street. I love doing anything to do with textiles, so embroidery, cross stitch, patchwork, done a bit of quilting, bag making, toy making, oh goodness, there's loads and loads of things. What I love doing is just trying something new, and I think one of the tips is don't be frightened of trying something new. You always learn from it, and you know, don't be scared of making mistakes either. We all learn from the mistakes that we make. Little bit about me that you might not know and that's a bit of a surprise. I once went to the garden party down at Buckingham Palace, the Queen's garden party, for some work that I did with Marie Curie. I was so lucky to go there and just a wonderful time. So I hope to see more of you on Sewing Street and I hope to try lots of new crafts with you. So see you again soon. Bye bye.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck. If you'd like to get in touch with us during our live show and send in any messages or any questions, then you can do it on studio@sewingstreet.com. Alternatively, you can message us on our official Facebook page.
Now I got to sewing through various methods. It seems like a perfect storm almost. There's my grandfather's treadle singer sewing machine when I was a little boy. That was just absolutely fascinating to play with. And then there's my husband Clive, who is also a sewer, but hadn't done any for a while when we first got together. So watching him get back into it also encouraged me. And to learn the skills myself, I went on a course with Sew Me Something, run by Jules Farmer, who I'm sure you've seen around. And she did one of her lovely introduction to sewing courses. And here I am. Now, something you may not know about me is that I once appeared on Blue Peter. It was a very long time ago when Anthea Turner was doing the programme, and I used to play in the Warwickshire Youth Orchestra at the time. But to earn my badge, I played the part of the triangle. I look forward to seeing you all really soon on Sewing Street, where I'm going to be showing you how to make lots of lovely things.
And welcome back. So this hour is all about embroidery. If you love embroidery, or if you've never tried embroidery, would like to have a go, sit back, get your cup of tea, chocolate. And Cara and I are going to talk to you all about embroidery. So what we've asked Cara to do is, can she explain for us from the beginning, if you've never tried embroidery before, this is how you get started. Now, if you have tried embroidery before, you will pick up some tips and ideas along the way. Please message into the studio@sewingstreet.com if you've got any questions for us, and we will try our best to answer them, because between us, I think we've got 50 years experience. That's quite impressive, isn't it?
I started embroidery when I was about 10 or 11, so
Right.
I've got a few years.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I probably did as well.
But you never, ever, ever stop learning.
Well, no, it's ridiculous, isn't it? All the time, because I work at the moment on an embroidery magazine as well, and I'm always learning new things.
Yes.
I think, how did I not know that?
I know.
So we actually might not be able to answer all your questions,
We
because we
try.
clearly don't know everything. But anyway, so to start with, I guess you've got to choose a design. What do you want to embroider?
Yes, I think as I say, I've been doing embroidery for years and years and years, and absolutely love it, because it's so relaxing, it's so mindful, it's so, you can totally absorb yourself in the actual act of doing embroidery. But there's been a tendency over the years that people think, oh, it's so technical, it's so,
Yes,
this, that and the other. And at my daughter's school, when we did the millennium, we'd got every child in the school to do some stitching on some leaves.
Right.
And we even got the little 4 and 5 year olds.
Okay.
With assistance, because obviously they're using a needle and thread. But, if a child can draw on paper, they can draw on fabric. They can write things on paper. They can write things on fabric. It's like the wax crayons.
Yes.
I didn't know, but, you can actually get a child to draw something on fabric. And then if you iron it, the wax melts into fabric.
I didn't know that.
Oh, there you go. And, then you give a child a needle and thread, and we've got some amazing threads to get people started with today. Then they can, with help, with assistance, because obviously if they are using a needle, it's got a sharp point. But, they can stitch then onto the fabric. If you put it in a frame, give it to grandma, give it to an aunt, give it to granddad.
Yeah, what a lovely thing.
It's just so personal. So, don't be frightened. Don't be frightened.
It's
That is
really
the thing
easy.
with embroidery. And, you can progress. You can sort of start and then progress, and you'll get totally addicted to it.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's because you can do it in front of the telly. That's what I love about it.
Oh, I love it. And it's so sociable as well.
Yes,
because
it
you
is,
can stitch.
And you can stitch on the train.
Yes.
Always used to stitch on the train and in front of the telly, and you can chat, and you don't have to be looking at it all the time.
No, not at all. And, with embroidery, you leave your needle in the actual work. And, you come back to it and you think, oh, that's where I was.
That's where I am. And also, there's no counting involved.
No.
You don't have to count a thing you just stitched. So what book have you been working from?
Well, this is a wonderful book. Karina, I've known Karina for a little while, and she just does the most beautiful, stunning, bright colours, simple embroideries.
So that's Thread Doodling by
the
Karina.
Thread Doodling.
Oh, $9.99. That's a good price, isn't
it's
it?
fantastic. And it's got transfers in the back.
Has it? What, for the same included in the price?
Yes.
That's really good.
So
are they iron on or trace
they're
over?
Iron on, and you can use them up to we'll have a look at some of them. You can use them up to 10 times.
Wow. Do they just get lighter as you as you
Yeah,
go?
a little bit lighter, but then you'll always have, you know, even if you've used it 10 times and you want to use it again, then we'll show you how you can actually use a light box or use a window or something like that.
Do you have to cut them out, or do they pull
Yes,
out?
so what we suggest is you cut them out from the book. So if I just run through the book a bit.
Yeah, that would be good. Show us what's in it.
So isn't there some absolutely beautiful and very, very simple stitches? We're going to look at stitches later, but they're just so, so pretty. I think, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 12, 16, 20, 21 different designs.
Okay.
And
21 transfers then, I
yes,
presume.
21 transfers and some little sort of designs as well, which goes through all the different fabrics that you you know, might be able, but you can stitch on anything.
Yeah.
You know that. You can stitch on absolutely anything. You know, if you've got an old t-shirt, you can stitch onto a t-shirt. I love the fact of customising. I love the idea
I've got one of those rucksacks, you know, the Swedish ones, and I've embroidered all over that.
Yes,
you can do that.
You can
as long as
stitch,
you've got a really sharp
stitch
needle.
on absolutely anything. And if you've got some cushions that you want to sort of update, or you know, and they've got a pattern on them, you can do some stitching around the flowers, around some of the designs. So
it covers all the materials.
It covers all the different materials. Then she'll go into the different stitches. So we'll run through the basic stitches. So for somebody who's never done it before, this is perfect because it does show you, you know, how to do the stitches. And stitches are very visual, aren't they? So I like the idea of having photographs and step by step.
Yeah, no, that's really useful.
You know,
so
which is really
I
good.
presume they're easy to understand?
Yes, really, really easy to understand. So she covers all the different stitches that are used in the book, but it's not prescriptive. You don't have to stick with exactly
so you can choose which one you like.
Yes, yeah. She even covers about preparing the hoop, because if you want to, you can actually wrap something around the hoop to protect your fabric. But it depends on the fabric. We've got the Osnaburg that you had on earlier.
So we had that. That was the early bird today, the Osnaburg fabric, and that is 1.5 meters by 1.2 meters, which is quite a big piece of fabric, so you can do a lot of embroidery with that. And it's a really good price today because it's £1 off.
Yes.
£6.50 for that large piece, and you could probably stitch all 20 projects.
Definitely.
But it's great because it's a good value. You know, it's lovely to do your finished work with, like, because Cara's done hers on that, but it's also great for practice.
It is, definitely. And I always say to people before, even I do, you know, if it's a stitch I've never done before, then I'll actually do a bit on, you know, some fabric. In fact, I've got a little book here, which is my, like, stitch dictionary, if you like. So I'll, you know, just do a little, and this I can refer to, I can come back to, and, you know, go over and over again.
And that Osnaburg fabric is ideal for that, isn't it?
It's perfect. So, you know, if you've never done embroidery before and you want to learn different stitches, this is a lovely way to actually do some stitches and keep it as your dictionary, your stitch dictionary, and you can always come back to it, and you can always adapt
and add,
you know, different.
To it. But it's quite a good way of practicing, isn't it? Is to have a hoop and practice.
Even now, if I haven't done satin stitch for a while, I'll actually sit down and think, right, okay, how can I get it nice and smooth? How can I get it, you know, I'm always a little bit apprehensive before I start satin stitch. But, you know, once you get into it, and, you know, I did some the other day on here, on the eyes of a doll, and it was using a single strand, and I thought, oh, gosh, you know, how am I going to be? And it was actually on Osnaburg, and I know you said, you know, it's a little bit more open weave. But
it still worked with the one strand.
Sat really, really
so which
well.
was the project that you chose from the book
Right,
to do?
so the one I chose from the book to do, I've got a couple on the go, but this is this one. So you can see it here in the book, and then this is mine on Osnaburg.
That's so lovely, isn't it?
And that gives you an idea of the size.
Yes.
And I know we've got some embroidery hoops as well, so you can actually
Yes, so
mount,
that one there is in this... I need to put glass on, can't see. 5.8. So that must be the 6. That must be the 6-inch embroidery hoop. For 5.8 inches. So that's $3.99. Now the good thing about these embroidery hoops is that you mount your work to stitch in them.
Yes.
But then you use them as a frame.
Yes. So this one, I actually used, you know, the frame to stitch it. Then when I'd finished it, I trimmed the fabric at the back down, and then you just run a running stitch around.
So that's a really neat finish to put on the back.
And then just a piece of felt, and I'll cut the felt to the size of the hoop, and then I can either stick it or I can stitch it. And I think what's nice is if you get a pen and you write your name and date on the back, and if you're going to give it to a friend, you know, as a present. But I wanted to show you, I also added a little bit of wadding. So when I'd completed the design, I didn't actually stitch around, around the outer edge until I put a layer of wadding. And then I did, and my favourite stitch, I know that Karina's favourite stitch is backstitch. My favourite stitch is stem stitch.
Okay.
Because I find sometimes that I can't always get my backstitch nice and even. So I use a lot on her design. She's using the backstitch a lot. I use a lot of the stem stitch.
Yeah, I
but
prefer,
that's
I
the
use
beauty.
split stitch. That's my favourite.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
funny,
like
isn't it?
split
Everybody
stitch.
has a favourite
I know,
stitch.
don't know. It's just because
but-
it's the one you find easiest.
Yeah.
But with these hoops, you can paint them as well. So if
You can.
because you're using them, it's amazing that you can have a piece of equipment that you use to stitch
Yes.
with that's a tool.
Yes.
But then you can use it as a frame
Yes.
as well. But they're quite easy to paint, or you can wrap bias tape around them.
Yes, and you can also, you know,
So-
tie a ribbon or something at the top.
And we've got different sizes. So that's
Yeah.
the 6-inch. We've also got the 8-inch. And so the 8-inch, which is 20 centimetres, that's the diameter of the inner hoop. That's £5.49. And then we've got the bigger 9.6-inch. So again, you know, what you could do with this is you could stitch several designs on this and frame them
Yes.
all together.
Yes.
So that's the bigger one as well. So it depends what size you want. And, you know, you might keep one hoop to always do with your stitching, and you might think, well, I've got some bits of embroidery, but I'd like to frame them. But, you know, you could buy all three. They look lovely on a wall when you've got all three sizes together.
And what I like as well is if you're going to decorate a wall, and I've seen
Yeah.
this done a few times, is that, you know, you've got some with embroidery, but then some with fabric.
Yeah.
And
If you've
just
got
fabric.
if you've got a fabric that you really love that's
Oh,
got a
gosh,
beautiful
yes.
print,
Yes.
you think, I don't actually want to sew and cut
No,
this,
no.
so I'm just going to frame it.
No.
You know, and in particularly in the bigger one, that
Yes.
looks stunning,
It
doesn't
does look stunning. And also if you've got fabric, maybe you've got on cushions or a throw or a patchwork or a quilt or something like that, you can take one of those pieces of fabric and frame it in
And
the
at
hoop.
£5.99, that's a very cheap picture frame,
It
isn't
is,
it?
it is. And then, as I say, if you wanted to make it a little bit more special, you can put the wadding on the back,
Yeah.
and then gather it all round, and then put some fabric or some felt, you know, to actually
And that's
neaten
just a
it on the
lovely
back.
piece of wall art, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
And you'll
it
make you look
is.
really trendy as well. It's really cool.
So I've just run through some of the different designs here. Just so simple.
There's a lot of good choice there, though,
Yes,
isn't there? There's a
really
big
good,
selection.
and it goes so well with some of the threads that we've got. So if it is for a beginner, this is ideal. It's an ideal, you know, if you've got somebody who's got a birthday present coming up and you're struggling what to give them, even, you know, for children, if they've got an adult that will sort of supervise them,
yeah.
this would be a wonderful sort of present. You know, give them the book, give them some fabric, give them some of the threads, because the threads are such good value.
Yes, these are
really
the
good
packs
value.
that we've got here.
Yes. So just run through a few more, but it is just such a lovely book.
Yeah, so it looks like a really good introduction, but also, you know, if you want to create something, because you've got all the patterns as well, having the transfers,
Yes.
that makes life a lot simpler.
It does, and as I say, you know, you've got all the transfers for all of these ones that are in hoops, and you said about, you know, painting. That one's
that
been
one's
painted sort of in
and
a
you
nice
can choose
green.
whatever colours, so you could
Yeah.
choose, you know, a palette of 3 or 4 colours of something that matches the room you want
Yes.
to stick it on, or someone's favourite one. I love that one.
Yes.
Hundreds and thousands. That's
I
beautiful.
know, and that's using some of the variegated threads.
Oh, is
that we've
it?
got in the
Okay, and we've
pack.
got variegated
Yes,
threads as well.
Yes. So just quickly run through. As I say, it's just such a lovely book. And then we'll come to the transfers at the back. So these are all your transfers.
Oh, and
she
it
gives
tells
you
you
all
how
the
to do it as
information
well.
how
Oh, that's
to
really
do the
useful.
transfer. You can either, I'm going to show you 2 ways. You can either have the transfer going downwards, or you have the transfer looking upwards. and then you can iron over the top of the
Okay.
fabric.
Oh, yeah, do
And
show
one of the
them.
books, it has said that if you put the transfer onto the actual surface and then put the fabric on top, the transfer doesn't move around so much. You know,
That makes sense because
yes.
the transfer, the paper is slippery.
Yes. So
And
sometimes,
so when you have to just press.
yes.
But I guess if you've got the fabric on top, do you know? I didn't know you could do that.
No, I know. Again,
There you go,
you know,
that's
this
two.
is something
That's two now.
Yeah,
Things
lots
I've
of
learned
things.
today, but I didn't know that I'd never thought about doing it that way round. I thought you had to have the heat from the back, but
No,
obviously not.
yeah.
Okay.
All I would say is that I mean, I've got a pressing mat or some paper.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
to protect.
So that your
because
ironing board doesn't
my
have an
ironing
embroidery
board's
trim.
actually covered in our transfers.
But if you just put a piece of just cotton fabric, it
Yes.
wouldn't go back through that, just underneath.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. She also includes some other little ones.
Oh,
so these
okay.
are really cute and ones that won't take long to do. Even borders, so you can start building your own.
Oh, and I
patterns
guess,
up.
yeah, you could just do those in strips. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to, like, embroider the edge of a pillowcase, you
Yes.
could just, because they transfer 10 times, you could just keep
Yes,
putting them
exactly.
along.
You can repeat them and then put them on a pillowcase, put them on the
That's
edge
very
of
nice.
sheets. So all the numbers up to number 20 are in projects within the book. And then these are the
Oh, those
bonus
are
ones.
spares.
So this is all bonus.
Wow.
So
That's makes this book very good value, doesn't it? $9.99.
really, really
And you've
good.
got all of this, because these threads... Yeah, I mean, I like that sun and cloud one.
Yes.
That's nice. But, you know, to get started, if you've not done embroidery before, but having all the transfers for that price...
It's really
Because
good.
if you bought the transfers separately, it would cost more than $9.99.
It would definitely.
Oh,
and
I'm really
there was years sort of ago when you could get transfers, and it's not so easy to get
No,
transfers.
it's not. You used to get, all the time.
Dayton Brothers, do you remember Dayton Brothers? I
Yes.
think Dayton Brothers are still around and still doing some transfers and tapestries and
And
things
you'd go
like
into
that.
fabric shops and they'd have like sheets of them and you could go through them.
Oh,
and
absolutely. Crinoline ladies.
all of that. Lots
Who can
of
remember crinoline ladies?
yeah. And corners of tablecloths.
Yes,
Everyone's got an embroidered tablecloth.
Antimacassars.
Antimacassars.
Yes, cassars,
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah. So, so these are some of the ones that I've actually transferred onto the Osnaburg. So you can see how clearly they transfer, and that's the same design.
Oh, okay. So that's
So
twice.
I've used that one twice.
Right. And that is clear enough to stitch
Yes,
from.
that one I didn't actually have the iron on that part of the pattern, but don't worry, I can still see that part. So I've got the iron on, I hope.
That Osnaburg does look lovely with these bright colours, though, doesn't it?
It really does. It
Much
really
better
does.
than a white, I think.
I think it just sort of, especially with a wooden hoop, if you are going to actually, frame it in a wooden hoop, it just
It
reflects
matches
it.
really, really well.
But you can use anything. I've got some designs actually on white cotton,
okay.
cream cotton fabric, just like a quilting weight. So you cut your design out, and as I say, what we'll do today is just put it underneath
I suppose,
there.
can you see, and you can see through?
You can, but if you were wanting to trace it, we've got the light box, so we can have a go
Right.
there. But I've got mine. You want to make sure that if you are going to be putting it in a frame, that you allow enough fabric around the edge. Okay, and make sure that there's no sort of little bits and pieces there.
So do you transfer all your designs like this now?
I've only this last week.
Okay, well,
been
no,
doing
I've
it, but I
never
think
even-
I will be. I think
Yeah.
I will be. So I think it's
So
on
how
a hot, pretty hot,
And steam?
and no steam.
No steam.
No steam. And then you'll actually hold that
Yes,
for
you're
about...
not ironing, you're pressing.
No, you're pressing. I'm going to put my paper so I don't get it on the iron. Just going to put my paper over the top. So this again is just
Does
my
it
baking parchment.
does it come through the fabric then?
Sometimes,
well, I suppose
if
it,
you,
yeah.
Sometimes if you, it depends on the thickness of the fabric. So it really does depend on the thickness of the fabric.
So it's not just transferring to the wrong side of the fabric; it comes through.
It sometimes can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sometimes can.
But I guess you're stitching from the other side, so you need to place the fabric right
Yes.
side down.
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay.
And also bear in mind that your transfer is going to be a mirror image.
Well, I was just going to say, does that
Yeah.
make it in reverse?
Yes.
So if your transfer is symmetrical, you can use this method.
Yes.
If it's not, You have to do it with the transfer
Yes.
face down.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but then often transfers are printed in reverse. For that
They
reason,
are,
aren't they?
especially if they've got words or anything
Yeah.
like that.
So you have to look at that and think about which way round
Yes,
you're going to do it.
yes, and I'm actually looking as I'm pressing. I'm just looking to see if the transfers come through, and I'm still holding the iron
So
there,
therefore it won't
so it
shift.
doesn't move.
Right, okay. So,
So
you
I'm
need to have the
just-
fabric on
yeah.
part of the transfer to stop it moving.
And to make sure it works. Be awful after going through all of this. And in fact, I can start to see it through the fabric. So if I can start to see it through the fabric, I know it's transferred. So
Oh, it's
you
yes,
see?
it's coming through to the other side now.
actually there's a little bit there. Can you see that little bit that hasn't come through so much? So I'm just going to... And a lot of the books that we've got today have got actually the transfers in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not just the thread doodling one. I think the other one is the Kew Garden one.
And the botanical embroidery.
Yes, yes, has got the transfers. So that's your...
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Oh,
And that's gone through. Yeah, so do protect your ironing
yes,
board.
do protect. You're going to remember me every time somebody comes in.
Yeah. But then, you know, this cloth, this Osnaburg, will be
Yes.
ideal to use as a
Yeah.
pressing cloth as well.
Yes, definitely. I've
So
got...
you could buy the metre and a half early bird offer
Yeah.
and cut a piece of it to protect it.
Yes.
to protect your
so
board.
just I've got, you know, my pressing cloth as
Yeah.
well. So that's one way. The other way, I just wanted to do it again. So I've used this one before. So I'm going to pop something underneath now. Check the
Oh, you've
mat.
ruined it already
Oh,
now.
I have. Oh gosh, that's so funny. Well, not funny really. Sorry.
I think it's quite a nice thing to have on your ironing board.
Yes,
I wonder if it
you
comes
might
through to your
embroider it.
shirt if you start ironing then.
Right, so the other way is now, because I'm going to be ironing from the back, there's no need to put the paper on the back, but I'm going down onto the cloth, onto the surface.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to actually, you can see how strong the transfer is. I'm going to actually double that, just to be sure that I don't. So the next way is to actually put the transfer on top, and you press from this side, but there is a possibility that your paper will move.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I like that other method.
Yes. And you don't really get a second chance, do
No,
you?
and you lift it up and see that's gone actually a lot quicker
Oh, okay. So why is that then?
because the heat's going directly
Right,
onto the back
okay.
of the fabric.
Yes. So you'll get more ink
Yeah.
transfer doing it that way.
But that's what, third or fourth time
Oh,
I've
wow.
used that transfer.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it?
So
It's a really pretty design.
that's one of the designs. Do you want me to just talk about how else you can actually transfer? Or should we do a bit of stitching?
Yeah, just quickly. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be really nice.
So another method.
Always nice to have a few different ways to do things. So
Right.
if your transfer's now run out of ink because you've used it 25 times,
You can actually just put this onto
yeah.
a light box.
or if you want to copy something or trace something, so you know, if you wanted to, like I was saying before, if you wanted to write your name on something, you could type it out, print
Yes.
it out, and then use this method.
Yes.
So we've got two different sizes. A few months ago, I finally bought myself a light box because I used to do this by taping my fabric to the window and it makes your arms ache. So a light box, I don't know where to start how often I use my light box. I use it for EPP, FPP, I use it for embroidery, just so many different
Yes.
things. So this one that you're using is the Pure Light Ultra Thin A4 LED light box at $32.99. It is A4, so that this size you can see is the light size is an A4 piece of paper. But I think with this one you can have different levels of light.
You can. So I've just come up to the brightest one because we've got quite bright lights here. You may not be able to see this, but what I do is with a friction pen.
Yes.
But you can use a pencil, just a very sharp, fine pencil, and then just trace the design.
Okay.
So that's with the Osnaburg. The other one I just wanted to show you was these are little designs. I'll pop them that way. Little designs from the Royal School of Needlework. Oh no, the Kew Garden. The Kew Garden. So this was a couple of designs from there.
Right.
That one doesn't have, no, that one does have the transfer, but I felt that those were quite fine for a beginner to get started with. So what I did was I enlarged them on my printer at home, and I enlarged them quite a few times.
Oh,
and
that's really effective, isn't it?
That's really, really effective.
So
and I've
that
done
gives
the
you a
same.
much better use. So you could scan it and then enlarge it, and then you can do big ones and small ones. So it depends what size that you're going to be embroidering, whether you want. We do also do the A3 light box, and I find depending on the colour of the fabric, sometimes I need it really low light.
Yes.
And sometimes I need it high, because the brightest sometimes doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which sounds odd, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
you can't see the fabric through.
But if I just pop, this is just pure cotton fabric. So if I just pop that, you can see how well
Yes.
that comes through.
And so much
On the
easier
light
than
box.
typing it to a window.
Yeah. But, you know, these ones have the transfers, but they have them one size. I
Right.
wanted to have bigger
yeah.
sizes. So you can see how clear that is. And again, with a friction pen or with a pencil, don't press these. When I got here, I thought, oh, my fabric's all creased up, I better press it. And I thought, oh, no, not with a friction pen.
No,
'Cause
I
it'll
have
disappear.
done that. I've spent ages transferring
Oh,
design.
my gosh.
And I pressed it. And as I was pressing it, I just went, idiot!
Oh,
Idiot!
It's
But it was
too easy
too late.
to do.
Really
Too
annoying.
easy to do.
But it's great though, because if you use a friction pen, and we do sell these on the web, if you have a look on the website, I do lots of embroidery with them, because you just you iron them. If you don't want to iron the embroidery, you can just run over them with a hairdryer.
Yes.
They just disappear.
I know, it's just magic.
Magic.
Absolute
But
magic.
you don't press them until you finish stitching.
But if you wanted any writing, as you said, you know, you can do that on the computer, and then what you can do is actually just trace the back of it, and then, or no, this way, you just have it that way round.
Yeah.
So you have, you know, you've gone to your computer, you've written happy birthday or congratulations or happy anniversary, and then you can transfer it straight onto the fabric.
Yeah.
So you just have the light box behind, you have your sheet of paper. The only thing that I did was actually I went over the actual outline with a pen, so I could see it clearly through the fabric. That's the only thing. But if you're quite happy to go with that lovely little small bumblebee, then you know, there's the transfer actually in the
And which
the
book is that in?
That's in the this one. So that's in here. Oh, this is gorgeous. I mean, there's they say the Kew book of embroidered
So I presume
flowers.
that's the Kew Garden.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is sort of taking
So
your
is this
embroidery
for-
onto a next level.
Right. So is this for beginners or?
I would say not, if you want
Okay.
to try and achieve this sort of work, but it's no different stitches.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? So it's probably a beginner who's had some practice.
Yeah, and who loves this design. With anything, it's like with any embroidery, if you really, really love the design, you'll do it.
Yes,
you know?
yeah.
But it is like needle and thread sketching with a needle and
Okay,
thread.
so a lot of sort of needle painting.
Yes, a lot of needle painting. And I would say that with this one, they specify specific colours of thread.
Okay.
And, you know, that you're working usually with one strand.
So if you want to buy this book, you get 5 free DMC skeins with it.
To get you started. Which
Yeah,
is
I mean, they're
ideal.
randomly selected, but that is exclusive to us. And the book is $21.99, code LMPU81. That's beautiful.
It's
Okay,
stunning.
what's Teddy's question?
Sorry? So it's just so lovely. Just beautiful, beautiful. So shall we do some stitching? Shall we do some
Yes,
stitching?
sorry. I
No?
was listening to Kat telling me a question from Teddy.
Oh, right.
So Teddy does satin stitch for her doll faces.
Yes.
Yes, and Oh. Right, so she loves the sheen it gives when she
Yes.
does faces, but it's not very sturdy if she gives it to a child.
Okay, okay.
Well, I suppose I would do long and short stitch.
You could do long and short stitch. You can do padded satin stitch, depending on how big the areas are. So it depends on how big the areas are that you're actually stitching. But long and short stitch, it's not just a single stitch.
Yeah, it's smaller ones, so
yes,
it wouldn't
so it doesn't-
bag and it wouldn't come loose.
Yeah, or somebody gets their finger caught in it or something like that. So, you know, you can do that. You can couch it as well.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could do your layer of satin stitch and then just do some couching over the top with a single strand and
to
the same
make it a
colour.
bit more stable.
Yes, a little bit stronger so it doesn't.
Okay.
But the thing is about DMC threads is that, you know, they have that wonderful shine to them. Once you've stitched with them, they can dull down a little bit, but because they've gone through a process of mercerization, you can actually put them in the washing machine and put them on quite a hot wash, and the shine will come back and everything. But I always say to people, you know, maybe pop, if you've got a lot of satin stitch or something, pop it into a pillowcase or something like that.
Just to protect it.
Yes, to protect it. But long and short, I think your suggestion on long and short. So
Okay.
these are some of the designs from there. They are just
They
stunning.
are really stunning, and they've got transfers. Is that in the front pocket?
Yes.
Then?
So
and is
got
that for all of the projects?
Yes.
Whoa.
So you can, whoops, you can see how, I don't know, yes. There's the little bumblebee.
He's lovely. What a lovely thing. And then you get the 5 free skeins with it as
Yes.
well. So yeah, if you really love embroidered flowers, that is a beautiful book, isn't it? Really
Stunning book. And you know, as I say, you are sketching with needle and thread, which is fab. Right, so we've done transfers. So shall we do some stitching?
Yeah, let's do some stitching. Show us how you do it.
Okay. So I've got sorry, I'm just making a palette.
Yeah.
So you can't see it. It's behind
Don't worry,
all the-
I did that in the last show and just keep piling it all around the edge.
So I'm just going
So
to...
you're using the table, the table clamp, not the seat frame. It's amazing that. So if you want to stand at a table, do you stand at a table? Or?
No, I sit at my table. I've got a table upstairs with a really comfy chair, and you know I put this on there.
Yeah.
But you know what? The other day I thought, oh, I'm being a bit antisocial because I was upstairs and everybody else was downstairs. So I thought, right, I'll take this off. So I took this off, took it downstairs, sat on an easy chair, and I just propped it onto a cushion, and I still had both hands free.
Amazing.
But then the other one is the...
oh yes, the seat frame.
Oh, the seat frame is wonderful because you can use that on easy chairs and on comfy chairs and everything.
Yeah, I mean you can use hoops, but you have to obviously keep moving your hand from back to the front. So if you can do it hands-free, it is a lot better. Oh, look. Oh, let's just get the whole thing out.
So that's going to be my next investment, I think, one of those.
It's one of the seats.
Yes.
So you sit on this part, that goes on under your legs, and then this is the frame, and that clamps.
Yes.
That goes, I think I'm missing probably a bit somewhere.
Yeah. And then it's adjustable like this one. You can go up and down.
That must go in there, and then that must, that clamps in there, and all the clamps are in there. And then you attach that to there, so that you can then sit on this part, and then that's free to the hands free.
Yes, yeah.
Brilliant.
Best when you're wearing trousers or leggings, not a skirt necessarily.
Okay.
But you'll have both hands free, and it's just. But like I say, I took this off the frame the other day, and it was just really good.
It does make a difference, doesn't it? Having, I mean, I would say don't stitch without a frame, whether you've got a table frame, a seat frame, or just a hoop, because otherwise your stitches will distort. It won't be as neat.
They won't be as neat, but again, I think for a beginner, you can get away. If it's a small design, you can get away with just having it in your hands.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I find actually doing stem stitch much, much, much easier.
Yeah.
Off a frame.
Well, I sort of loosen the fabric within the frame and then put it back again.
Use my hand underneath and just lift the fabric up.
That is a lovely frame.
Okay, so what I'll do is just here. I need a pair of scissors. Got my scissors. I don't know if we can get this in shot. I hope so. I'm going to show you.
There we go. Oh, you've done
yeah.
the house and rainbow one.
Yeah. Oh, let's just move it over slightly.
So
There.
what threads have you used for that?
Right, so this one is using the multicoloured sort of the packs, because these are perfect for people to get started with.
Okay, so is this the... because we've got different ones here, haven't we?
Yes, I think it's that one that you've got in your left hand.
That one,
left
the
hand.
100
Yes.
skeins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 100 skeins, there's 8 metres in each skein.
That is a lot of thread.
That is a
lot
of
of
thread for $14.99.
But you can use it for so many different things. You can use it for friendship bracelets and things like that, making tassels, you know, plaiting, lots and lots of things. So
you've got all of these bright colours on one side, and then you've got the more pastel colours. And then there's another row, and there's more inside. So 100 skeins, that pretty... Yeah, if you're a beginner, if you want to get started, you need quite a few colours, particularly for this book. These designs seem to use a wealth of colours in them, don't they? So a pack like this with 100 for 40, gosh, that's really good value. That's a really good thing to start off with.
The skeins aren't numbered, so the only thing that I would say to you is don't do a project that, you know, maybe is going to use more than a skein, because you won't be able to necessarily get the same colour. But it is absolutely perfect, especially for children, or especially for somebody who's getting started. But if you're going to go up to something like the Kew Garden one or the Royal School of Needlework, then obviously something like DMC threads, they will have the colour numbers, and that makes a difference.
Yes, because then you're matching to the actual design,
Yes.
whereas with these, you just want to pick some bright
Yes.
or pretty colours that you want to go in it.
Yes. So you pull, the 6th strand is twisted, the thread, like that. So we pull quite a long length off, because we're actually going to use a couple of strands, and I'll show you how you start with just a loop. And when you've got your thread like that, you'll separate it, and it has 6 strands. And what you want to do, if you're using this thread or DMC thread or any stranded thread, you want to strip it, and you want to take a single strand off like that, because the actual rest of the thread is twisted. And because we've got quite a long length, what we're going to do is put the 2 raw ends together, thread that through the eye of the needle. I'm not going to actually thread it live on air, because we'd still be here tonight if so I have one that I've already done, and you'll thread that through the eye of an embroidery needle like that. And what you're left with is a loop at the end of the thread. So if I pop it over there, you can see that. There's a loop there. So you have the raw edges that have gone through the eye of the needle. You've folded that thread in half, and you're left with a loop just there. So I'm going to actually do some stem stitch, and I'm going to stitch round this part here. So you'll start on the wrong side, and then we'll pass the needle through the fabric. Now, before you pull all the thread through, you'll take a stitch forward, and that can be short, it can be long, you know, it can vary. And then now this is going to be difficult. I don't know which camera you'll be able to get this on. I can't turn it all the way over. Sorry. Want me to do it like that? So we've got a loop on the wrong side.
He's got it.
And we have Jo running in and out of the...
That was lovely. You can really see the back of that now.
Yeah. So we pull the needle all the way through, and just pass your needle through the loop. Oh, it's so clear.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Maybe you could just stitch from watching it on screen.
I could just do it like that. Is it actually bigger
It's
than
bigger than in reality.
So that's starting your stitching without a knot, which is lovely. And then
it's much neater, isn't it? You don't get thread ends on the back then.
Yeah, and then I'm sorry, Jo, coming back down to this one. So I've gone forward, and the stem stitch, because the curve is going that way, I'm actually going to do the stitch on the stem stitch on the inside edge of that line. And then this is where we were saying that, you know, sometimes it's easier to have this in your hand, but I'm using my hand underneath. I'm going to go a stitch forward and then come back, and my needle's going to come up where the previous stitch was. I'm doing quite large stitches here, just so you can see it. So I've gone forward and then I've gone back. And when you pull your thread through, you can see it's making a really nice smooth line. And when you get into the swing of it, you'll find that it grows so quickly. So on this particular design, I've used stem stitch, backstitch. I think there's some French knots, there's some lazy daisy, and I've got some more fabric just on one side so we can go through. If anybody wants us, this is going to be a challenge. If anybody wants us to show how to do a certain stitch, then please just let us know.
Does the book tell you which stitches to use?
Yes.
For each project?
Yeah.
So if I find the houses one that you're...
But you don't have to follow it in the
No,
book.
but does it give you, if you think, oh, I've no idea which ones to use?
And it's very clear, the photograph's very clear, so it will show you.
Yeah, no, it does. That's really good, actually. It tells you that this one you should use backstitch, lazy daisy, chain stitch, straight stitch and fly stitch. Yeah, and obviously you could use whatever stitch you want. You could do the whole thing in backstitch. But it's nice that it gives you an idea.
It does.
And it also gives you colour suggestions.
Yes.
So you can buy the exact colours if you want. Or if you buy one of these, the bundles of thread that we've got, then that's perfect, isn't it? Because, you know, in this one, which is... NZZW05, that's 36 skeins of really all brights, actually. Well, you know, quite bright on, I'll show you on this side. They're bright on that side, all sort of primaries. But then if you turn over to that side, they're sort of slightly deeper colours, but you've got a few pastels as well. So quite a lot of projects in this book, you know, 36 different colours, that would be quite good. Also, if you're interested in this one, again, the code on that one is ZBZW13. That's more pastel. So on that side, it's got, well, you know, not really, those are sort of, you've got a darker green, but they're light, but on this side, they're very pastel. So again, you've got 36 skeins. These are sort of the lighter ones. The other one was the darker. And then Cara was talking about variegated threads. What did you do?
I have got a project partly started with the variegated, so I can go through that in a moment.
Okay, well, let me show you the variegated threads first, and that's XZZW39. Variegated thread means that the colour changes as it goes down the skein. So if you look at these really closely, you can see, you know, you've got like a pink one or an orange one and a brown one. And then throughout the length of thread, it changes from a light orange to a medium orange to a dark orange. It just keeps changing colour as you go along. And, you know, so that when you're stitching, you don't get that solid block colour effect. It just gives you a shading without you having to try.
We can just have a
So
look
look,
at that.
there's... that's that variegated thing. Right, and then look, if you look at Cara's piece. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do it. There we go. So now look, that's using, can you see the purple colours in that? And you've got a light and a medium and a dark. And then if you look at the orange, can you see how it changes colour? So it looks like you've used 3 different skeins of thread, but you haven't.
No. I love the variegated, especially for lettering.
Yes, it's so
something
lovely,
like
isn't
that.
it?
It's really, really nice. So I've actually completed that line whilst Bex was chatting. I've completed the line of stem stitch there, and all you do, this is going to throw you completely again, but I'll talk you through it. You come through to the wrong side, and you're going to actually thread the needle back through the stitches. Sorry. Joe's going to be so fit by the end of this. So I'm just threading my needle back through some of the stitches that I've already worked. And if you look on the back, you can see that the back of the stem stitch is like backstitch.
Yes, yes.
So when you do backstitch on the front, the back of your work will look like stem stitch. And this is something you can do with a different colour as well. So if you've got backstitch, you can actually, it's called whipping the thread, and you just go through your stitches like that, and then just snip it off, and that should be nice and secure, and you've not got lumps and bumps on the back of your work.
Yeah, because if you have any loose threads on the back, they end up getting pulled through to the front and
They
getting caught
do.
in other stitches. So rather than thinking I'll do it all at the end, cut them off and thread them in as
Yes.
you go along.
Yes. So I thought the next thing, if we've got time,
Yeah.
hopefully, is to
Got
go
about
through
10
some different.
minutes.
Oh,
so
lovely.
that's loads of time, isn't
Can
it?
I carry on stitching for the rest of the day? I do. I mean, I absolutely love
well.
embroidery.
So the early bird Osnaburg has sold out.
Oh gosh. Well,
so
done for getting it.
if you do want to buy some, you can still get it, but you have to buy it by the half metre.
Yes.
So you won't get our special offer. So it's obviously been very popular.
Yes,
today.
I mean, I love it
Because it is great, but we are still selling it by the half metre. Look, there's the code up there. If you want a metre, put 2 units in. If you want a metre and a half, put 3. But obviously the offer that we had earlier, but it's still at £2.50 half a metre.
Oh, such good value.
Really,
such
really good value.
And as I say, it gives a nice texture. A lot of embroideries, traditional embroideries, were done on linen. And to me, this is sort of like the same type of effect as a linen, because it can be quite slubby in parts. So you'll find that some of the threads are thicker than other threads, which is like linen. And I just love the fact that it's natural. So I really, do enjoy sort of working.
Well, it makes
embroidery
those
on it.
bright primary colours really
just
pop,
pop,
doesn't it?
yes.
Which is not what you would imagine,
No.
but it just does.
No. So what I wanted to do was just show you how you, if you get one of these clamps, how you actually mount the fabric in. So you've got your inner ring of the hoop, and then you've got your outer ring, which has got this screw.
So this is the same with any of the embroidery hoops as well?
Yeah. So you undo and you loosen the screw there, and then you place this over the top of your fabric. Okay. And it will just slide down and sit around the edge. Now, at the moment, you want your fabric to be as tight as possible.
Yeah.
So we'll tighten the screw up, and that actually pulls that wood around the inner ring, and you want that quite tight. There is, if you're struggling with your dexterity, there is sort of like a proper screw, so you could get a screwdriver to do that there, which is good. And we just flatten it around like that. And can you see that's quite loose still?
Yeah, sort of like trampolining.
Yeah, what we do is we pull the fabric round. So you tighten it as tight as you can, and then you start pulling your fabric through, and you want your fabric to be as tight as possible whilst you're stitching it, unless you're doing something like stem stitch, and you can loosen it up. Once you've been stitching for a while, you may actually want to tighten it up. What I'd say is, if you're going to be doing it maybe a little bit every day, and that's the beauty about embroidery, you can leave it, come to it, do 10 minutes, maybe the tea's cooking, and come back. You can do that, but if you're going to be doing it for a long period of time, I'd take it off the hoop.
Yes, I guess because it would mark it.
Yes,
in that
it would
time.
mark it and press, and it would start to pull the fibres of the fabric.
Right, okay.
So, but you can see that I'm actually just pulling the Osnaburg just round like that, and now.
Yeah, I can hear this.
Yeah, it's like they say it should be like a drum.
Like a drum, so it's nice and tight.
Yeah.
And so what are those stitches that you've got on there then?
So I just thought, right, okay, we'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
a very good place to start.
Yeah, so I've threaded my needle. I've got my little loop at the back there. Okay, if you can see that. So I'm just going to do a running stitch. And if anybody has got any requests for any stitches, just give us a shout. But I've just done a few basic stitches here for those who, maybe have never done embroidery before. So I've got my loop on the back again. So I'm just going to do running stitch. And running stitch is one of the easiest ones. And this is the one that we got the little 4 and 5 year old children to do at school, because it's just in and out of the fabric.
Well, it's really good. I mean, it's the stitch you use for hand quilting, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the stitch if you want to like sew a label onto something or a little tag running stitch. It's a really nice decorative stitch just for the edge of many things.
It is. So we can make that stitch short and we can make it long. And you can see I've got my finger underneath the fabric and I'm just pushing the fabric up. So I've done quite a long stitch there, short one there. You can do an even longer one. You don't want really, really long stitches, but you can vary the length of your running stitch very easily. And if you want to do it very even, then obviously try and keep your stitch and the distance between the stitch very similar. So that's a running stitch. So the next one we've got on here is the back stitch. And in fact, I think I'm going to do the stem stitch again because I'm right-handed and I'm on the left side of my fabric. So I find...
And it's your favourite stitch.
Yeah. So I'll do just a quick line of stem stitch. And the stitches that I've got on here, I've got a lazy daisy stitch.
Yeah, that's
is like
a really useful one, isn't it?
Like a
so much
chain
embroidery
stitch.
features flowers, and it's just great for petals.
Yeah. And then French knots, I've got fly stitch. Oh, and the one that I hadn't tried before was pistil stitch. Is it pistil? Stitch for for the stems, stamens on the inside of a flower. So I'll just...
There's so many stitches, but then sometimes you find... I came across rice stitch the other day and thought, what's that?
Gosh,
but it's the same as seed stitch.
Yes, they have different names.
Yeah, and then you think, okay,
Yeah.
and brick stitch is the same as long as short stitch. But so you will find that, and then people invent their own stitches.
Definitely.
But there are some very useful stitches that are specifically for things like leaf stitches for leaves.
Yes.
Funnily enough.
And you know, as you say, lazy daisy is just such a simple stitch for flowers and things like that. So we've got the stem stitch there. So now I'm going to do a back stitch. So I start...
So these are your sort of basic building block stitches, the ones that you need to start with.
It's all right, I'll just pull it through from the other side. So with back stitch, you'll start just a stitch length in from your line. And all it is you go back a stitch and forward a stitch. So back a stitch and forward a stitch.
And going into the same hole.
Yes, and trying to keep it. I'm obviously looking over the top of it. If it was right in front of me, then I'd be a little bit neater, I think. And my stitches would be more even. Very good.
Well, the whole point of embroidery is it's slow stitching, isn't it? It's not supposed to be speedy.
I know, and it's handmade. I think.
Although I think it is slow, and you can take your time. And I think particularly when you're beginning, but it does grow quite quickly.
It does, and also, you know, you can play around with your thread. So I've used 2 strands here. If I wanted to, I could do it with 3, 4, 5, same stitches. I could then take maybe a light green and a dark green, put 1 strand of each in my needle, and that sort of blends, you know, it gives you a different effect.
A lot of these designs in this book as well are sort of outline stitches, not very densely filled areas, which makes it a lot quicker as well.
Yeah. So that's your back stitch line. And then we'll do...
Kimberly says, could you demonstrate chain stitch?
Yes, I was just going to say, should we do chain stitch?
Well, Lazy Daisy is a chain stitch.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a lazy daisy stitch. So your needle comes up in the fabric. You pass your needle back through the fabric, and then pass your needle the length of that lazy daisy stitch that you want to achieve. And that can be as long as you like or as short as you like. If it's short, it gives quite a curved sort of effect. And then you'll pull it through, and that's a lazy daisy stitch. So I'll do another one. So this is the start of a chain stitch.
I guess those lazy daisies work really good with the variegated, because then they keep changing. If you worked sort of 6 of them around a flower, it would keep, the petals would be slightly different, wouldn't they, each one, without having to try.
So that's a lazy daisy. Sorry, my hand's in the way. So a chain stitch is exactly the same, like that. don't pull it too tight. You want to keep it so that you've still got the curve. Now, instead of going for the lazy days, we went back down in the fabric and did a little stitch to lock that loop. I'm hoping that you can see with my hands in the way. Yeah. So your needle will go back down through the fabric, and this is a chain stitch. You're going to come forward, and I'm just going to use my hand underneath so that I can pull my needle through, and I've still got that loop.
So it's just a line of interlocking chains.
Yeah. So I'll do it again. So down through the fabric, and you can make it a curved line, a straight line. You can, I've got in my little book different variations. You can fill the center of the chain. So if you wanted to, you could do a little stitch in the center in a different color. But that's your chain stitch.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's just so relaxing. I can feel myself just relaxing.
So
here.
in the Kew Garden book, does that use any of these?
I think it does use different ones. I'm not sure how much time we've got left, whether we can also look at the Royal School of Needlework
No, we haven't got much longer.
No, that's fine. So I'm just going to move this over and show you some of the other different projects.
Yeah, no, it does cover lots of sort of satin stitch and all of those. Gosh, this is beautiful, this book.
So if you want to get into embroidery, this is a perfect book to get into embroidery, because it takes you through different techniques.
Oh, so is that your encyclopedia?
Oh my gosh.
A bit like the patchwork and quilting one I did earlier. This is the embroidery encyclopedia.
Yes, it goes through all the different techniques, because there are so many different techniques in embroidery.
It's a fantastic gift then
to
yourself.
So canvas work. Yes, I love canvas work. I've got one here. So this shows what you can do with canvas work. So you can actually paint plain canvas and then do different stitches on the front of, this is just on the front of a book. So that's wonderful. Another one is stump work, and there's all instructions included in here. So this is more three-dimensional. So you have sort of woven designs for the leaves of this poppy. We've got some gold threads and little beads there. These are wooden beads, different sizes, and then a little bit of felt and some bullion knots. So this is all something called stump work. So that's, and there's all information included in the book.
And that's all in the book to show you how to do these techniques.
Yeah.
So once you've sort of mastered backstitch, that's it, you're off.
And also there's gold work within this book as well. So this uses different threads.
So you can start sort of very basic right up to these more complex techniques.
And they what I love about this book is it takes you through the different techniques, even all the gold work and everything. Gives you little projects to have a go at. It's just beautiful. So if you love embroidery like me, this, you can add beads, you can add sequins. Got another one here with a little bit of gold, and I love beads and things like that. So, and different threads, metallic threads and things. So, just so
good.
beautiful.
That's good today. So we've had 2 encyclopedias, but it's nice to have everything all in one place, isn't it?
It definitely
I like
is.
that one. And then tell me about this one.
So this is lovely as well. This is a new one. I think it's the first time, and this gentleman has actually done some botanic ones. So in some way, very similar to the Kew Garden ones, but very, very simple designs, very easy to do designs. And in fact, he stitched them onto quilts that have been quilted.
Wow.
So
that's a lovely idea, isn't it? So you've made all of your quilt, but then you stitch onto it. So do you get...
So you get your transfers in there as well. Shall I open this one?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you get all the transfers here.
Okay.
For the designs.
How many different designs are there then?
Oh, that's a good question.
What is it? 25 designs?
25 different designs. So
mix and match. Okay. Oh, they're lovely, aren't they?
They're really,
like really
pretty.
Beautiful
very, very
illustrations.
arty.
Yeah.
But again, if you are arty, you can do your own as well, can't you?
Yes, true, but if you're not...
But if you're not, this is a perfect. And then he's got all the information about 25 designs to mix and match, and you know, he's got it for different projects. Table runner, shadow box. And
what
again,
sort
stitch
of embroidery
guide.
is that? Is that quite basic, or is
Again, it's, we can see we're using backstitch, buttonhole stitch, chain stitch that we've just
right,
done.
okay, so just some pretty standard
Yeah,
stitches
feather
then.
stitch, French knots, herringbone, lazy daisy. So nothing different.
No,
Nothing
it's just
different at all.
the designs that you do them
Yes.
with. Such a difference. So the thread doodling book is quite sort of modern and bright,
Yes.
and whereas this one
It's very classic.
is more classic, but
Yeah.
using the same kind of stitches as well.
Definitely.
So I guess, you know, if you buy either of the books and then you've got the hoop, and we've got lots of other supplies on the website. You know, we've got scissors and needles and things, which we might go over in the next hour, but you know, there's just so much to...
There is, and I think you've got DMC threads on there, so if you look under the stranded cotton, you can get some of the DMC colours if there's a project that specifically asks for those colours. But as I say, those thread ones are brilliant to get people started. Really, really good. So
Well, you've got so many there, haven't you?
Yes.
I mean, I think well, that one's a no. That one's already open, but the 100 pack where you've got 100 skeins and 8 meters of each. That's quite a lot.
this is a good one as well. It's, you know, to store your threads. So once you've got your threads, you know, maybe you want to store them. But this box is wonderful. It's got thread cards, and there are, I think there's 10 skeins of DMC thread there.
Oh,
so you can
as well.
wrap them onto the cards and store them. So that's really good as well.
So basically, if you think of the price of the thread, you're getting the box for free.
Yes.
If you did it that way, because 10 DMC skeins, well, they'd be more
It's
than
over.
they'd be more than that, because they're normally over £1 each.
Yes.
So your box is free, so then you can store them all in there.
Yes.
And the problem is, once you start stitching, you will have a lot of thread.
Definitely, and I have.
I do. I have got rather a lot of thread.
I have got rather a lot at home as well, and I just think, you know, but it's lovely. You know, one of my ambitions was when I was at DMC was to collect the full range. I've got the full range now.
Have you?
Every
stranded cotton, 500?
But I think there's about 600, isn't there now? But, you know, if I run out of a colour, I know that I can actually, you know, you can go online
and you can buy another one.
Yeah, you can buy another skein. So, but I've got beads as well. And jewellery maker, you have got seed beads.
I know, but I think, you know, we all have quite big stashes of things, don't we? And we've probably picked up embroidery thread or stranded cotton here and there. And I think what's great, it's not very expensive, is it?
No.
The stranded cotton, you get 8 meters on the skein, it goes a long way. You can do a lot of stitching. So
Yeah.
if you looked at this hobby as far as cost per hour, it's quite cheap, isn't it?
And it is, and the enjoyment and the satisfaction when you come to the end and you've done something. I mean, I don't tend to stitch for myself. I tend to stitch for presents for people. It's just wonderful to be able to give that as a present to somebody.
And these designs as well, you don't have to just put in a hoop. You could put them on a jacket, couldn't you?
Oh,
on trousers, you know, on your denim jacket, they look amazing.
Or on your top.
Or on my top, which I'd like to say I embroidered myself, but I didn't.
But, you know, that's what you can do with embroidery. And,
Well, it's been great, Cara. You've really explained it all to us, and I really feel like you've shared your passion of embroidery to everybody else. So I hope you really enjoyed it. But thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
Can
I just
being
carry
with
on,
us.
please?
Yes, just keep going. Just keep going.
All right.
So in the next hour, we've got lots and lots of different tools that we're going to go through, all different things that will help you with your sewing. So if you just give us a couple of minutes, go off and make yourself a cup of tea, then we'll see you soon. But bye, Cara, and thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Please come back soon.
Coming back, I think, 26th.
Oh,
Don't know what the projects are
26,
yet.
okay,
Yeah.
so we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you. It was
All
so
right.
good to work with you.
Lovely too. All right, we'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Rosie Wells.
My name's Poppy and I'm a nutritional therapist.
Hi, I'm Ruth Lynette and I can't wait to join you all on the brand new Gemporia Lifestyle channel.
If you're a fan of primal living, you're going to adore what's around the corner.
What is lifestyle? Lifestyle is healthy habits.
Feeling good, it's about looking great,
Making sure that we're taking good care of ourselves inside.
and it's about the life that you lead and the home that you live in.
All of this is why I'm so excited.
We've got the most wonderful team.
Homeware deals and primal deals under one roof on one channel.
I can't wait to share this brand new channel with you. So we'll see you soon on Gemporia Lifestyle.
Gemporia Lifestyle, coming soon to Freeview Channel 74 and gemporia.com.
Hi there, my name's Alison Marion and I'm thrilled to be joining the Sewing Street family. I live in Staffordshire where I run a couple of sewing groups and I have a passion for vintage sewing machines and also applique. I've stitched in some form for as long as I can remember, but I absolutely love teaching and helping people stretch their skills and hopefully demystifying some of the techniques that can be quite daunting for beginners. So I'm looking forward to meeting the team and getting into the studio. See you soon.
There are 2 ways to shop with us, either via our website, which is www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down past the live programme and either click on the Shop Our Catalogue banner to shop via category, or shop today's products by scrolling through the list under the email newsletter sign-up form. The other way to shop is via our UK call centre, which is 0800 001 4433. Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Welcome back to the final hour of the day. Oh, look at my desk. Vatican looks a bit like my sewing room at home. Got so much on it, so much to go through, lots and lots of tools. I've had a good look at things that I like and things that I'd like to talk about. So we're going to start with the lamp, which I'm going to bring in. This is great. This is because it's LED, so it's not hot. You can put your hand on it, won't burn you. Really, really bright. On, off. I like on the front of here, it's got this little accessories tray. So say you're doing some hand sewing and you want to see a bit brighter, or, you know, if it's near your sewing machine and you just need a little bit more light on your work surface, because it's LED, it's very bright. It will last a long time, and it's got these accessories so that you can put in there. But especially now, very sadly, we're nearing autumn. Not far, is it? So it's getting a bit darker, and if you like me, I hate stitching in dim light. I like to have a lot of brightness, and because this is very small, it's very movable. You know, you can put it where you want. You know, if maybe you want a little bit of extra light near your sewing machine, but also because of the tray, and it's got little things you can put in your mark pens, or you can put your marking pencils. You know, it will fit that sort of thing in, and then you can put things in there. But it's just a really nice little lamp that will give you that extra bit of light, particularly, you know, you don't want to be stopping stitching. Sometimes I use this thing as well, you know, when you've got a thread and you think, is that navy or black? No idea. And for that kind of thing, it's very useful to have that extra bit of light, because immediately you can see, particularly if it's like a midnight navy and a black, you can't really see the difference between the two. So very, very useful little light, pure light LED hobby lamp with accessories tree, and it's $16.99. That's a really good price because it's a quality project. It's the same company that make the light boxes, and they are really good quality. So we are going to now move on to some other fabrics. We were supposed to do these earlier, but I got a little bit carried away by all of these lovely colour mixes, so we're going to look at these now. So there are 4 different colours here, same print, lovely pretty little daisy, I'm not sure what the flower is, a daisy type print with a little forget-me-not intertwined. So exactly the same fabric print, but different colours. So this one is the green one. Look, and you can buy it. It's called Pink Flowers on Green. That's how much you get. You buy it by the ½ metre. Remember, it's 44 centimetres, 44 inches wide. If you want more than ½ metre, just put more. You know, if you want a metre, put 2 units in your basket. If you want 2 metres, put 4 units. 3 metres, 1.5. And you will have it sent to you cut as a continuous length. So that's a really lovely fabric. It's a very sort of, reminds me of kind of 1950s vintage green, that sort of feel to it, with really pretty pops of colour with the pink. Then we've got the pink, exactly the same print, but different background. So that's just got the pink background. And then we've got same again, but this one's the blue. Now look how these fabrics go beautifully together, don't they? Although they've got different colours, those 3 really go together, and I think it does have that real vintage feel. Makes me think of kind of wartime tea dresses. Obviously, I've seen lots of wartime tea dresses, but no, it is that feel, isn't it? And then you've got the real classic, the same print, but with that really classic navy blue in the background. Now, the cotton the cotton mixers that we sell with them, you know, if you wanted to have a colour that went through with it, because we were talking about the colour matching earlier, but I can't find the pink one. Have I missed some of them? No, I think, yeah, it might be on the table. Never mind. The green one, I think it is, the pink is the one that was left on the table. Thank you very much. So look how that one matches beautifully, and actually it matches with all of them. If I put it across the top, can you see how this pink picks up the pink in all of these flowers? Now then, if I went for the, let's move these out of the way. If I went for the green next, the chartreuse, that picks it up really nicely. I think that's probably all the ones that I would put with it, actually. Yeah, but sometimes you just need to see how one thing will go with another, but those two fabrics will pick it up really well. So if you want to add a little bit of a plain fabric, remember this mixer fabric is slightly not textured, but like a colour wash. So it has a more depth, it's slightly mottled, it's got a dark and a light shade in the same tones. So these fabrics, you know, again, obviously they're quilting weight fabric, they're very soft, they're good quality. But, you know, so obviously they're used for patchwork quilting, but, you know, so many different homewares, soft furnishings, children's dresses, you know, they're so pretty, little girls' dresses, sun hats and little bags, very bedroom as well, because they're very, very pretty. But, you know, this is my favourite one, this green one. You know, for a makeup bag, I think that's very, very classic. You could make a little set of them. And the bag book that we did earlier with Cara at 8 o'clock, you know, this is perfect for quite a lot of the bags that were in that book. Because what's really nice about it, if you bought a 1/2 metre of that one and a 1/2 metre of this one is the lining and one is the outside. But then you could swap them around, so you could have, you know, a couple of drawstring bags, one lined one way and one the other way. And if you bought 1/2 metre, or, you know, you can buy whatever quantity you need. But those are my two favourite out of the 4. But the green's the best. I love the blue. It's very bright sky blue, isn't it? But just a very pretty thing. And because it's a multi-directional print as well, it doesn't matter which way you cut it. You haven't got to think in terms of stripes and how it works. But as far as size goes, you know, you can see, look, it's about the size, those flowers are about the size of my finger. So that just sort of helps you to get some perspective on the size. Right. So now we're going to move on to the Eau de Coat. Love Eau de Coat. So look at this product, Eau de Coat. Now, it's a wonderful product. It turns your fabric waterproof. Now, an oilcloth waterproof fabric isn't the easiest thing to get hold of, but this is what you do. So, I would like to say I'm going to open that, but it's really stiff. But you don't really need to see it, to be honest, because I'm going to show you. But anyway, it's I think it's got completely stuck. Oh no, I've done it. Look at that magic. Yeah, it's all stuck. So it looks a bit, I want to do that without it falling out, a bit like a thick jelly. It is like a thick jelly. And you paint that onto your fabric. Yeah, you can use like an old credit card, or you can use a paintbrush if you want. You can paint it on with whatever you want, but it depends how many coats you put on as to what happens. If you put one coat on, it's sort of water resistant. So say you just wanted to coat something that you just wanted, maybe like a makeup bag that you just didn't want to get really wet if it was just in a bag, you would just do that. And then it's perfectly machine washable. So anything that you paint this onto will be machine washable. If you put a couple of coats on, it's like a waterproof fabric. And if you put 3 coats on, it becomes like an oilcloth. So we've done a couple here earlier with this lovely gingerbread fabric. Isn't that really sweet? So this is a children's apron that Alice and Marion did with this lovely gingerbread. And after she'd finished it, she then eau de coated it with 3 coats. You don't have to take, it doesn't actually take long to dry in between each coat. I can't remember how long exactly, but it's not like days or anything. It's just, I'd have to read all of that. Yeah, it was done. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was done on the show. It does say on the instructions, but you don't need to. And this has had 3 coats. And, you know, so an ordinary quilting weight cotton fabric. So you imagine if this was a wash bag or a children's apron. So if I spray this now, you can see, look, the water's just dripping off onto the floor, and it's not gone through to the back at all. It's completely waterproof, like an oilcloth. So say you had a really, oh look, shall I do it now we're a bit closer? Can you see how all the water's just dripping off and it's not soaking in? Oh yeah, so that's it, yeah. So the binding that's at the bottom isn't eau de coated because that was done first. So the water is soaking into there. Oh, that's better. So can you see how the water, the spray is soaking into the bottom, whereas it's just dripping off there? So say you wanted to make a tablecloth or some table mats, and you wanted them to be like an oilcloth and wipe proof, and you get quite a nice smooth surface with this. You can hear it. It's got that slightly sort of oilcloth sound to it. Perfect for tablecloths, table mats, children's things like this. If anything that's outdoors. So if you wanted to make a picnic bag, and you just, maybe you just want it slightly water resistant, so it's not going to soak in, you just put 1 coat, and you can then just keep adding the coats until it's the level you want. But if you wanted to make a wash bag or a cosmetic bag or anything that might have some liquids in it, then you just paint this on. And it is fantastic. I mean, I love the way it's called eau de coat, fabric becomes oilcloth. That's it, really. Fabric becomes oilcloth. But you use anything, but you can still put it in the washing machine. You can still chuck it in the machine, and it will still work. It is. I mean, it's, although it's not a massive pot, but it will last you such a long time. I reckon you should paint your kids' school uniforms with it. Be brilliant, wouldn't it? They'd never get dirty. As hair gel, I think that would be very strange as hair gel. But it is a brilliant product. Now, you can either paint it on your fabric before you cut it and sew it, or you can paint it onto your fabric once you've completed it. I made a wash bag, and I did it afterwards because I had lots of different binding in the zip, and I just thought I'd do it afterwards. But it works the same because you can still sew it even when it's got this on it, when you've eau de coated it. And you can still cut it. But if you get to the end and you think, well, actually, I want to do it now, or if you've got a bag or something that you've already made, so you can do it either way. But, you think of these fabrics, we talked about these being so pretty to have for bedroom things. You could make yourself a wash bag, buy 1/2 metre of each, make yourself a matching set, and then waterproof them. And it really does work. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff. Right, so let's just put those to one side, and my eau de coat, put that over there. I'm tidying up. So these chalk pencils, really like these, because we were talking earlier to Cara about marking designs. These are chalk. So they're very good for transferring marks, whether you're doing embroidery. I've got a dark and a light here. Whether you're doing embroidery or whether you're doing a bit of dressmaking and you need to mark some notches on. There are some fabrics, I use quite often heat erasable pens, and they work really well, but not for all fabrics, because particularly dark fabrics, they don't show up very well on there. And there are some fabrics that they don't come off on, and we always say, if you're using a fabric marker or a pencil, do check that they actually come off. But this is a really good alternative because these are 100% chalk. Now in this pack, you get 2 silver ones, 2 white ones, and a sharpener, which is really useful because not all sharpeners will fit these, but this one does. So, there's a very good tip on that. I like that one. Turn the sharpener instead of the pencil. Maybe I should try that. I wonder if that works with everything for a cleaner cut and less breakage. Going to try that. Oh, I turn the pencil. I hold the sharpener still and I turn the pencil. Definitely. I turn the pencil. Don't do it the other way. So that's what it says on here. I mean, I don't know whether that means just for these or whether it means, you know, for any pencil, but I'm going to give it a go. So these are made from 100% water-soluble chalk. So they mark really well, but then you can either brush them off, or if you just use a damp cloth and some water, they'll come out. So if I take the white one that's already been sharpened, well, the silver one, because that's not been sharpened. There we go. Yeah, and because they're sort of compressed chalk, then less messy than the sort of the powder chalk or the Taylor's chalk. But look, you know, you can just draw lines. So if you needed to mark something, say you wanted to embroider some denim, you know, you could just write your name on it or someone else's, or just your initial, and you can see. So the silver one shows up on there, but it also, if I show the white fabric, it's just as a plain white cotton. And it actually, you know, with some transfer pens, they sort of stick against the fabric. They drag against it. These don't. Look, writing my whole name. Yeah, it's just, and because it's just a pencil, it's really easy to hold it. You're not having to think about other, you know, sometimes the transfer things aren't pencils. It's difficult to, particularly if you want to write with something. But it is very soft and it does glide. You know, I'm managing to go around curves, whereas sometimes when you do it with transfer pencils, you have to do it sort of a bit like that. But, you know, if you wanted to draw lines on something, if you wanted to mark notches, this is perfect. And it's water soluble as well. But I think what's great is that it does have the sharpener with it, and so you've got 2 silver, which are great on light fabrics, and you've got 2 white, which are great on darker fabrics, and that's the Quilter's pencils. But I remember when these were selected by our buyer, they were done because they're a really good quality brand. They're an American brand, and you know, if anyone knows quilting, it's the Americans. They love it. So very good quality, and they actually work, which is handy. Right, let's do fabric next, shall we? So, barley pop. We've got 2 different packs of barley pop. Let's start with the blue one. So, a barley pop is a pack of strips of fabric which are 2.5 inch wide, and in here you get 40 different fabrics. So if you unpack them, which I'm not going to do with these because I'll get in real trouble, this is what you get. So you've got these 2.5 inch wide strips. So you know the jelly roll thing. Obviously, jelly roll is a moda name, so they can't call it jelly roll. But they're design rolls. So this is the 2.5 inch strip. Now the beauty thing, the reason they're called barley pop is because they're batik, and these are traditionally produced batiks. And the way they do it is they dye the background fabric, and then they splatter them with wax dots, and then they re-dye it, and then they heat it. The wax dissolves, but the area beneath the wax can't get dyed. So it won't absorb the dye, so you're always left with these marks. That's how batik is created. It's with either salt or wax they use it. But look, so this first pack that's called, oh, it is, I was going to say Under the Sea. I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? There are so many different books and patterns that use design rolls, use these specific 2.5 inch width strips. They're the full width of the fabric, 44 inches, 112 centimetres each one. And then you get 40 of them. And I mean, look at the beautiful colours. So you've got very dark colours. And then you move into like really sort of purpley tonal blues. And then you've got jade. I mean, I could just show you the packet, but it doesn't show it quite as well, does it? As when you do it, as when you get all the fabrics out. I mean, obviously, you know, we've used these, we've taken them out, we've given them designers, we've asked them to make stuff to be inspired with them. So that's why they're not all the full width. Don't worry, you're going to get anything cut. But we just wanted to show you. And then in amongst that, you get a beautiful purple. So if you want to do some of your strip piecing, like, do you want to have a go at Bargello? Perfect for that. Or maybe the Seminole patchwork that we talked earlier that's in that encyclopedia, that's ideal for this. You can buy books that especially have design roll patterns in them, but because this batik, it's just lovely and I mean, it's a fascinating technique that they, you know, put this wax on that it's a resist, so the dye won't go through it. Then they wash it off, and you get all these colours. But when you look at how many colours are in some of these fabrics, you can tell that this process has been done time and time and time again until you get this. But if you were interested in, let's put my Greek pile, if you want to break it up, and I've just disappeared because I've lost some of them, you know, maybe you want to use these fabrics, but you want a bit of plain, maybe to do the binding or a bit of a border, then, you know, it makes it look loads further. So you've got, that one is, or yes, that's blackberry. This one's purple. Ooh. Chartreuse. Was it? No, this was magenta. Chartreuse was the green one. I haven't got that one. No, that was shot. And then probably I would say the St. Ives blue. It's not called that. They've got, you know, because these mixes, they've got that real sort of mottled background, which actually echoes the different dyes and the spots and stuff in here. So, you know, it's really useful. You buy a packet of the barley pops, you've got 40 of them. That's the same as a design roll. If you put some of our mix of fabrics in with them, that means you can use them for borders or binding or sashing or just to add a bit of different. But because they're not solidly plain, they've got that nice movement to them. It does echo what's going on in the barley pops as well. So, yeah, just a little thought. But we do have another barley pop as well. Barley pop. Oh, my Lord, what am I going to do with that lot now? Well, what will I do? I've lost the bag. I would say no, I haven't lost the bag. I am going to put them back in the bag, including the one that fell on the floor. Right. We also have this one that's called the Pastels, but this is lovely because it's not just one colour. You've got lots of different colours going on here. So this is what you get. You get, again, 40... shall I just lay it flat? There we go. So you get 40 2.5 inch by 44 inch wide strips in a range of colours from white to yellow to peach, orange, red, pink, mauve, purple, green, turquoise, blue, green, and then back to cream again. In fact, that's the same colour because it goes all the way around. But let's have a look at it properly. That is what you get. So the really pastel. Now, you don't have to use all of them. You can use just some of them. If you want to make yourself a very little bag, just choose 2 or 3 and put those together. If you want to make a whole quilt, use all of them, but you don't have to. I've got quite a few of, not these barley pops, but similar batik strips, and I use them quite a lot. I often just keep hold of them and think, right, well, I use one and I have used them in patchwork, or if I want to do some 2-inch square patchwork, because these are 2.5, if you cut them crossways into 2.5-inch squares, when you join them together, they're 2-inch. And it's just really useful to have that. If you want to bind the edge of something, you could join diagonally on the seam, you could join 2 of them together, stitch them together, and then you've got a scrappy binding, so you could put those 2 together and then pick up a red and put that on the end. Now, if you bind the edge of your quilt in that, it's going to go with quite a lot of colours. I love scrappy binding, though. I always think it's a bit of a shame to put plain binding. And then when you bind with that, that's really pretty. So you could keep them just because they're really useful. Don't think when you buy these barley pops that, oh, well, I've got to use them and use them all together. They're actually really useful little things to have in your stash. You can grade up. So say you wanted to make a a cushion or a bag, you could take the darkest colour at the bottom and then you could grade up and put that one, and then you could put the pink one just above that, and then you think, oh, well, actually, oh, no, that one's nice. We'll put that one up above. And then, you know, when you've joined it together, we've only now used 4, but you've got an instant, really pretty little bag there. So if you wanted to then use some of the colour mixers, I would say, now who was it said? Was it Teddy who phoned in and said orange goes with everything? So let me put them all together and we'll lay them out like we did with the other one. So that goes really well, doesn't it? Well, there's another orange as well. Orange and tangerine. I need to turn that one around, don't I? That looks really lovely. And maybe the pink. Because the pink, yeah, maybe pink goes with everything. But the pink echoes these pinks, doesn't it? And you could even pop the chartreuse in there. Do you know what that looks like? Opal fruit. You're not allowed to say, are you? They're not called that anymore, though, are they? They're not called that. They're called something else now. But that's what that looks like, doesn't it? It's real sweetie. Maybe that's why this is called pastels. It's like, it is sweeties. But if you wanted to use some of the colour mixes to make the barley pop go a bit further, or you want to use it for sashing or binding, or if you wanted to make a bag with them and you want to use it for straps, well, there's loads of colours that will go with it, but those 4 or 5 go really well. So if you want to look for these cotton mixers, there's 13 different colours. So if you go onto the website www.strowmanstreet.com, that didn't come out, did it? And type in cotton mixers in the top search bar, all the 13 colours will come out. If you go, they're only $3.99 for half a metre, so they're a really good value. If you go back to the 9 o'clock show, where if you watch it on YouTube, I went through all of them one by one in detail so you could see each one and see what each colour was like. And then I sort of talked a bit about, because sometimes, you know, you're not 100% sure what it looks like on screen, but I did sort of show you the colours and we talked about what colours they were. So for some more detail, but, you know, this is I think it's better than a solid plain fabric range because you get much more movement and it sort of blends better as well, doesn't it? So, okay, where have I put the bag? I am going to put these away because I'm getting them in a right mess. It's a good job they weren't ironed or pressed nicely. I know, yes, when you buy one of these packets, look at it because it will never look like that again. Take a picture and go, oh look, that was what it used to look like. So I'm going to move. So now, did you know that here at Sewing Street, we actually print our own design rolls? But what we do, even cleverer, is that we print them all together on one piece of fabric. And there's a very good reason for that. So today, this offer is you can buy all 3 panels. So there is the Christmas one, the blue one, and this pink. I'll get them out in a minute and show you. But you can buy all 3 panels for a saving of £10, which is amazing, isn't it? These have been ever so popular, so we decided we're not going to sell them singly, we're going to sell them in 3s. So this is the Christmas one. Not absolutely sure I'm going to be able to hold this all up because it's very, very... Yes, that's the other side. That's the other side. This is the side that you need to see. Why can't I go left? So, look, it's like you go the opposite way. You probably don't get that. I'm going the opposite way. So that's how wide it is. I think it's 140 centimetres wide. And then that's the length of it, which is 1 metre. Yeah. And I'm going to hold it the right way. 140 by 123. 123. So let me show you the whole thing by laying it all out on the table. So what you get to start with at the top, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 strips. And you start off with red at the top. Each of the strips is 2.5 inches wide because it's like a design roll. way that we've printed them is so that if you want them in strips, you just cut on the line between them, and then you've got strips. But the other thing that you can do, you know, quite often they say about joining them together, you can cut the other way. These don't have to be design roll strips. That's why we've printed them together. You can cut them into those, or you can cut them the other way and then you've got strips going the other way. Or you can just make something with the whole piece. You could make a Christmas tree skirt in wedges and like patchwork, and you could cut it all from the piece. You could make a Christmas tablecloth with it and it's all joined together. We've done it like this because there are so many designs and patterns and ideas that use these design rolls. The 2.5 inch strip is a classic measurement. So let's go through onto the detail. So on this Christmas one, we've got snowflakes, we've got cookies, then we've got gingerbread men, then we've got holly, and then we've got snowflakes, then we've got exactly the same prints but just in another colour. So we've got the gold snowflake, we've got the gold cookies, we've got the gold gingerbread men, we've got the gold holly and the gold snowflakes. And then, funnily enough, I'm getting a bit repetitive now, aren't I? We've got the gold snowflakes, the gold print, cookies, gingerbread men, and snowflakes at the end. Yeah. So they do. So you can cut them all up if you want to. You can keep them together. You can cut them that way. You can cut them that way, and then you'll have lots of strips with one little bit of each. So that's one of them that you get in the bundle. But there are 3. This one is called it's called Ditsy Bitsy Picnic. Obviously. Right, so exactly the same, that you've got the 2.5 inch strips. Now normally you actually get more in a design roll. Normally they're 44 inches wide because that's the width of the fabric. This fabric is 55 inches wide. So this, you actually get much better value and more. And so for £50, you're getting just over 3 meters of fabric. So in total. So this features a mauve, and you've got spots and roses and small designs and ginghams. The rose then moves into a lovely blush pink, again featuring spots. You've got gingham with little prints on top, and then that moves into a white background but featuring the same pink checks. You've got this lovely neutral gingham here. You've got a trellis here with the roses. So how many did we say there were? My count: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 18. So you get 18 strips that are 55 inches. We've got 3 of them. So that is 54 strips at 55 inches long. That's really good value. And remember, you don't have to cut them in. The iron finger is chasing me. Sorry, just had to say that. Iron finger. Right, moving on to the blue one. And this is in the same bundle, $49.99, saving £10. Remember, you don't have to cut them in strips. You can just use them as having very small, lots of little pieces of fabric for your stash. You can cut out the bits you want. You can use them for all different things. This one is called Misty Blues. I love the there you are, overhead. So you've got this lovely blue and white print. You've got this one that's slightly outlined. You've got a really nice, like a backstitch trailing line. Really pretty daisies along this line here. Look at those. You know, if you just wanted a little square of them, say you were doing EPP, there's so much on here if you were doing that you'd be able to use it again and again and again. Or you could just cut them up, use them as design roll strips and make a quilt. We've got a really lovely pastel blue gingham here. And then we're on to the mid blues, which I would say these are cornflower blues. the screen that are on my screen, they're brighter, I think, but these are very cornflower. They're St Ives Summer Sky, although isn't it Norfolk and Wimbledon as well today? Maybe. Wimbledon blue, these are. No, I'll tell you what they are. They're Wedgwood. That's the colour they are. That kind of Wedgwood blue. So again, you've got the white flowers. You've got the running stitch lines. You've got the daisy. You've got the spots. You've got the gingham. And then we're moving on to a sort of a rich, more royal blue. And again, you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've got the 5 designs in that one. But yeah, I mean, imagine. I mean, I love Bargello. I know how much you lot all love it. But blue and white Bargello in this would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Or log cabin, because of the size of the strips. Remember we were talking about log cabin earlier in the Encyclopedia of Quilting? Oh, I think I stole that one. Yeah, I did. That's in my bag, that one. Linda Clement's Encyclopedia of Quilting, where she talks about log cabin. You need darks and lights to be perfect for that. But, you know, if you also, you know, at this price with the 3 bundles, it's really good value. It's the sort of thing you could take one and think, well, do you know, I'm going to give Bargello a go. I haven't got all the different fabrics. I want to have a little practice. And, you know, if you made a Bargello quilt with this, it would be absolutely stunning. Just because I think it's that combination of the blue and white is so effective, isn't it? I don't know, maybe it's just timeless. Yeah, I think everybody loves blue. Everyone loves a bit of blue, don't they? Right, so, oh dear. Dear me. Right, so next. Look at this. I love that. That's so lovely. It's a sewing machine pincushion, like. I feel like you want to. I don't know why I want to drive it. Don't know. It's the sewing machine. It's not a car, but it's really nice, isn't it? It features a wooden button here. That's the hand cranking thing. And then you've got a button on the top, but it's all padded, and it's not just padded in the top to put your pins in. So you have this by your machine, and as you're sewing, instead of putting them in your mouth, but you can also, they'll go in here as well. You can put your fabric clips on there, put it on that one, you put them all over the place. But it's just nice, isn't it? Yeah, do you know what? Do you know anyone who likes sewing, other than me, would like this for a Christmas present? Brilliant, wouldn't it? It's just a really attractive, lovely little, really nice, and it's got the wooden button, a bit of braid around there. It's even got this tape measure braid that all goes around the bottom. So just a lovely little gift for yourself or somebody else. Right. Oh, look at this. The Odif 404 spray. Now, I like this. Repositional adhesive. So, you spray something with this and it will then stick on something else, but you can take it off again. So, what people use it for, because you can spray fabric, plastic, paper, card, all sorts of things. So, you could use it, you know, for many things. You could stick photographs on the wall with it. But, you know, things like this is nothing to do with Sewing Street, but like university students, they're going off back to college, they need to put posters on the walls or photos, don't want to mark the wall, you could use this for it. But for us sewers, if you've got templates or pattern pieces and you want to put them on the fabric, you don't want to pin them on, you just want to stick them on, spray this on the back of them. Let me turn it around so you can see it. There you go. Spray this on the back of them, and then you can put them on, cut round and reposition them. Maybe you're doing EPP and you want to put your hexagons onto the fabric. You don't want to tack them on or pin them on, or you can use a glue stick, but that can get a bit messy. Spray them all with this, put them on the fabric, and then they are repositional because it will come off. It won't mark it. I mean, well, it says it doesn't mark, but you know, I would never believe anybody when I'm messing with my own fabric. So I would always check it, but they do say it doesn't mark. So for lots of things, it's just really useful because it's sticky and it really sticks, and it does stick all of those sort of fabric and paper and card, but it can be removed. But I would say dressmakers who are doing patterns, bag makers who've got pattern pieces, EPPers, and people who want to put photos on their walls. That's what I would use that for. The Fiskars White No, I haven't. Oh, they're on here. They're on here. Right. Look at all these scissors I've got. Look at these. You can't have all of these though. No, I'm going to show you these. These are great. I like Fiskars. I did a lot of research about Fiskars scissors. So Fiskars comes from a village in Finland called Fiskars. Really, really old engineering company originally. They decided to get into scissors and they have spent years and years and years just investigating how the best way to make scissors are, what works, what people like. These are a titanium stainless steel, made in Finland. And these are the utility ones, and the reason for that is that they're ergonomic. The handles are white, not your normal classic Fiskars orange, although they have got the little Fiskars on the screw. But the handles are just really comfortable. So they can be used for dressmaking, general sewing. You could even use them in the kitchen, but don't then use them for sewing. One or the other, but not both. Don't mix and match. They're called functional form because of the handles are really comfortable. They have this screw here and that's adjustable so you can undo it. And you know the orange bit, that's the Fiskars colour. They've even trademarked that so nobody can copy it. But the length, 24 centimetre, the blade, that's this part, this metal part, that's the 24 centimetres. The whole thing, it's just sort of a pretty average size. It's not super long and it's not super short. So they are general dressmaking scissors, but if you struggle at all, you know, with hands and with cutting, the handles are much more ergonomic than normal scissor handles. And at $14.99, you know, these are quality scissors. If they blunt at all, you can resharpen them. They're easy to use. That's a really good price. If you've got large dressmaking blades, these are your sort of middle of the road ones, but equally you can use them for dressmaking as well. And off they go, running away. Right, so this is the scissor rack. Does not come with all the scissors. That'd be a bit much, wouldn't it? So if I take them all out, then you can see. So look at this. You can get 18 pairs of scissors in here. I've got mine in a bucket, a rubber bucket at home actually. But look, you can even fit the duck-billed applique scissors. You can also fit in the pinking shears, and you can fit in these. But you know, if you wanted to put other things like pens and pencils in, you could, because you can fit a few in there. But really, you know, if you're like me and you've got lots of pairs of scissors, which I have, I've got mine in a rubber bucket. It's not very attractive, quite like one of these actually. You know, then that's a great thing, isn't it? And it's really lovely. It's made from a lovely hand-turned wood, so it's attractive. You know, it's stable, it's solid. You could paint it a colour, put stickers on it, bit of decoupage. You know, you can make it your own, but because it twizzles round, I just think, you know, if you have that on your sewing table, you'd look like a real professional. People think, oh, she knows what she's doing. And then you'd have an excuse for buying more scissors. You go, well, do you know, I've just got to buy 3 more scissors because I need to fill it. But, you know, things like the applique scissors, which I'm sure we must have on our website. I love those. They're just brilliant. And it also fits the small shears as well. But it's a fantastic. Love that. Yes, it does. It matches. Oh, look, I've just found the pencil sharpener for the... Da-da! Oh, is it? Is it really full? Right, hang on, look. Oh, look, you see? See? Yeah, exactly. I was just checking. See, that's what you need to do. Interesting. Right, anyway, slight aside. So, we've now got the Millwood Solid Pine Craft Caddy. Oh, I really like this. It's just really... It's even labelled, but it's just really traditional, classic sewing box. The handle folds down, should you need it to. It's got really lovely dovetailed joints on the side, which are really attractive. I'm going to give you one of those 360 tours. And look, 360 tour, inside. Oh, what's in there? Oh, We use it. We had to empty it out. We use it all the time. So it's got 4 compartments. 4 compartments. Again, you could paint it. Lovely with one of those chalk paints, wouldn't it? There's the handle. And look, you see, if we put them together, look, they match. Yeah, and you don't put... Oh, see, it's got a plastic. I was wondering how it worked. It has a plastic thing. Yeah, sorry, that was nothing to do with the show. I just fancied holding scissors above my head. No, it's got a plastic circle on the bottom. Don't spin it too fast. But what a lovely matching set. You know, and I think it's really classic. It's classic. It's wood, it's solid, it's utilitarian, it's warm. Would just look really lovely. Great gift for somebody as well, because you could fill this with a load of little fat quarters of fabric all rolled up. That would look nice, wouldn't it? Nice. You could team it with the gift. Yeah. Well, to be honest, you don't have to use it for sewing. You could put your seeds in it, couldn't you? Or your spices, or your tools, or toiletries and things. Because nobody, I mean, it says Millwood on it, but that doesn't matter. Unless you're called Millwood. It'd be brilliant then, wouldn't it? I think the Fiskars scissors are ambidextrous. But we do the left-handed ones on the website. There we go. Right, so thank you for having me this weekend. Thank you very much. I've done 2 days. Oh, I'm still alive. I'll let you know. I'm supposed to be here next week, but I'll let you know whether they let me back. So anyway, tomorrow, what's on? So 8 a.m, we've got a fantastic tweed bag with Catherine Wright. That's going to be a lovely one. 9 a.m. is Flower of the Month, so I'm guessing that's September. That'll be really good. 10 a.m, Boho Beach Bag with Catherine Wright. And at 11 a.m, the Elna FN 725 embellisher and the 780 plus and the 680 plus. At 12 o'clock, repeat of the trapeze bag that we did with Cara at 8 o'clock this morning. So thank you so much for spending the morning. We've learned so much. We've done encyclopedias of quilting, embroidery. It's been brilliant. So enjoy the rest of your weekend and check out your baskets, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.